synopsis, just a quick little rundown. She was, where should I start? Okay, well, let's just say she was convicted of the murder of Travis, who was her ex-boyfriend. And the trial is just crazy. But what's even more crazy is what actually went down. I know there was so much craziness that went down, but essentially she murdered her ex-boyfriend. He was already seeing someone else. She tried to play the cool girl, you know, like the girl that was just like, hey, you know, you can have sex and be with other people and I'll be your side chick. It's cool. It's fine. But no, she wasn't fine with that. She fucking hated it. She found out that he was going to go on vacation, actually to Mexico, with another woman. And I think that's what basically, I think that was the cause of her just being completely fucking unhinged and decided to just, you know what, if I can't have him, no one can. So yeah, it's pretty fucking wild. But yeah, the trial's really wild. If you guys haven't seen the interrogation video yet, I posted a video a couple weeks ago about the interrogation. It's pretty fucking wild too. It's just, I don't know, just seeing someone getting caught up in their lies and seeing their facial expressions, their reactions. You know how, because initially they start off like, oh yeah, I am innocent. Oh, I wouldn't do this. Why would I do that? And then when they start getting tripped up in their own lies, dude, it is just fucking crazy to watch. Yeah, she's super nuts. Yeah, I think there was something about, I don't know if it's true or not, but I just heard about it, how she crawled through a doggy door in order to break into his house or something, but I have to look into that. I don't know. There was a lot of crazy shit. Like, one that was for certain was after he had broken up with her, she moved closer to him. Okay? Can you imagine someone breaks up with you and your response to that is to move from California to Arizona to be closer to them? Like that is fucking weird, okay? If someone breaks up with you, just move on, you know? You're going to be sad for a little bit, depressed, but there's so many people out there in the world. You don't need to be attached to this one fucking person that doesn't want to be with you. But anyways, that was just I know, can you just imagine her crawling through the doggy door? I wonder if they ever made any animations of that. Oh man. Yeah, I saw I'm actually really surprised that the photos were published online. Why would they do that? I feel like if I was family members of the victim, like I wouldn't want like my son, my brother, my husband, whoever, I wouldn't want their pictures posted online. But yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a different time back then, or maybe once you have access to the court documents, you have evidence of the photos and you can publish those. Like, I don't know. I think that's like really fucking weird. But Shut Up I Can Cook says she wore a diaper when she drove to his house so she wouldn't have to stop for bathroom breaks. Wait, I actually don't know if that's true or not. Well, that's fucking crazy. Okay, I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know if I read that far. I landed on a lot of Jodi Arias support websites, and I was like, I didn't realize it was a Jodi Arias support website until I kept reading into like their interpretation of like certain evidence and stuff like that, like the conspiracy theories. I was like, holy shit, why are there so many Jodi Arias support websites out there? Now this guy right here, he's a fucking savage. Prosecutor. You know, he doesn't look that intimidating, right? Looks like a chill guy. I think he's like a little dude as well. He doesn't look intimidating, but as soon as he opens his fucking mouth, they're just like, what the hell? I did hear about that. I heard about her borrowing the neighbor's gas cannon and filling up the gas ahead of time, yeah. And her excuse was that was like, oh, I wanted to save money on gas or something like that. Look at Jodi. Look at her face. Oh, man. Day one cross-examination. Does anyone here watch Bose? She does true crime stuff, and she did a really funny skit where she was, I don't know, I think she was pretending to be Jodi or something like that. She put on, like, swim goggles on. Fucking dumb, but it's so funny. Oh, it's great. Really? You can read people. Everyone? Yeah, she's so funny. What happened to her? Wasn't her hair blonde? What happened to the blonde hair? Do you get access to hair dye when you're in prison? Or did she dye her hair before she went into prison? Because her hair was like bleach. It was like bleach blonde. Not even the good blonde. It was like the nasty blonde.
Please be seated. The record will show the presence of the jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Ms. Arias, you are still under oath. Do you understand?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez, you...
So by this time, she has already been testifying for, I think, like 20 plus fucking days. It was something wild like that. She was testifying for a very long time. And I just can't imagine. I think like by the time Juan Martinez got up there, he was like ready to just fucking destroy because he was like, man, I've been listening to your testimony for 21 fucking days and it was just all BS.
You may cross-examine the witness.
Ma'am, take a look at Exhibit 413. You recognize that exhibit, correct?
Yes.
And that's a picture of you, correct?
Yes.
Right here. And the other one is a picture of your dumb sister.
Listen, when I was editing this video, I don't think I've ever seen any footage of the case. I was like, what the fuck? That is a strong start. Camille Vasquez did a really strong start when she was cross-examining Amber Heard, but this was like 10 times as strong. Here's a picture of you and your dumb sister. I was like, what the fuck?
Angela, correct?
That's my sister. She's not dumb.
Well, do you remember having a conversation with Travis Alexander back on May 10th of 2008?
Yes.
And do you remember that you tape recorded that conversation?
Yes.
And during that conversation, isn't it true that you said, but I honestly think, talking about Angela, she's a little bit dumb. You said that, right?
Yes, I called her dumb and stupid.
Damn, it's fire.
Did I ask you whether or not you called her stupid, man?
No.
I asked you whether or not you called her dumb, right?
Yes.
I didn't know you were allowed to be this mean to the witness.
Ma'am, take a look at Exhibit 452. Do you recognize the two people there?
Yes.
And this photograph was taken by your camera, correct?
It looks like it.
Well, when you say it looks like it, isn't it part of the same photographs that are involved in Exhibit 413?
I think it is.
Well, Exhibit number 413, that was taken on May 10th, we'll bring it in, of 2008, right?
Yes.
And this photograph here, Exhibit number 413, features the color of your hair, doesn't it?
Yes.
Exhibit 452 also features the color of your hair, doesn't it?
Is that a younger
Yes,
sister? Does anyone know?
And this was taken sometime in May of 2008, correct?
This exhibit?
No, Exhibit number 452.
I only remember it was the spring, I think.
Of 2008?
Yes.
I move for the admission of Exhibit 452.
Yeah, just wait until you see how she tries to worm her way out of answering certain things. Sorry, the hammer thing started up again. I think it's like lunch break over.
Objection, lack of foundation.
They're using a projector, I think.
Counsel approach.
Oh, sorry, that was for the Zoomers. All right, so I just fast forwarded this part up a little bit just to see, like, you know, their interaction. Sometimes Juan Martinez gets really fucking, like, animated or something. I don't know. He goes a little bit crazy right there. Sorry, Misha. Which one? The one that's on trial? That's her name is Jodi. Jodi A. Just chilling there right now. They're talking to the judge.
452 is admitted.
Now, take a look at the court stenographer. He makes a lot of facial expressions, too. He's like... I think he gets really invested into what's going on. Remember, like, Judy, the court stenographer? She was just kind of just chilling, doing her thing. But this guy's like...
Date, refresh your recollection as to when this photograph was taken.
Yes.
And what date was this photograph taken?
5 days later, the 15th of May, 2008.
And with regard to this photograph, it also features you.
Dumb sister? He's gonna say dumb sister.
And it also features your sister, the one that you
Okay, he didn't say dumb
also said was
sister.
stupid, correct?
Yes.
Now, with regard to this name calling, one of the things that we heard through a text message was that you were upset at some point because Mr. Alexander said that you were going to turn out like your mother, or you were acting like your mother. Do you remember that text message, man?
Yes.
And in that text message, there was this indication that somehow he was saying something bad about your mother, right?
Yes.
And when you testified, you seemed to get pretty upset about that, right?
I remember getting emotional.
And you indicated that you loved your mother, right?
I do love my mother, yes.
Did you or did you not indicate that you loved your mother? I'm not asking you if you love your mother. I'm asking you if you indicated it.
I don't remember.
Spicy.
Do you have problems with your memory, man?
Sometimes.
So you can tell us, for example, what kind of coffee you bought at Starbucks back on June 3rd of 2008, but you can't tell us what you said yesterday or the day before?
I always got the same drink at Starbucks.
Okay,
And
good explanation.
You can tell us, for example, what type of sex you had with Mr. Alexander many years ago, but you're having trouble telling us what you said a couple of days ago?
When I'm under stress, yeah, it affects my memory.
I thought you said the relationship with Mr. Alexander was very stressful.
Some of the sex wasn't.
Pardon?
Some of the sex wasn't.
So you did enjoy the sex then, is that what you're telling me?
At times I did.
Dude, she has changed her story so much. But you know, with someone like Jodi,
But
you need
did
someone
indicate at some
sharp like
point
Juan.
that, as part of your examination, also that Mr. Alexander at some point said something about your grandparents also. Do you remember telling us that?
My grandfather.
Right, that he made some pejorative comment or some bad comment about him, right?
Yes, his name.
Right. And one of the things that seems to be coming out here is that you seem to have a double standard here with regard to making comments about people, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Overruled.
I do.
And in fact, it's okay for you to make comments about, for example, Angela and call her dumb and stupid, right?
No,
Is Angela in the
Well,
courtroom?
You said it, right?
I did.
And we heard on the telephone conversation that you were laughing when you said that, right?
Yeah, it was sentimental, kind of.
You were laughing. You weren't upset when you said it, were you?
No.
And then when Mr. Alexander says something like, you're going to be like your mother, that's when you get emotional and upset, right?
I did.
And that's when you get upset when he says something about your grandfather, right?
That night I was upset.
And, well, you did get upset, yes or no?
No, because I was already upset.
Well, you didn't get upset
wonder
on the
who
witness stand
showed up
when
at
you
her
told us
trial.
about
Oh yeah,
that?
on the witness stand, certainly.
And so it just seems that it's okay unless it's
Hi, David.
It's okay to say these things unless it's Mr. Alexander that's saying them, right? So
No,
you're
that's
applying
not
a
what I'm
different
saying.
standard to Mr. Alexander, correct?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
And ma'am, one of the other things that we know with regard to this standard applying and that sort of thing is back yesterday, as a matter of fact, you told us that.
Oh man, her eyebrows trigger me. Remember back then, the eyebrow trend was like the skinny eyebrow? Oh man, I fucked up my eyebrows so bad because I overplucked the shit out of it.
Back in August of 2007, you went over to Mr. Alexander's house. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
And you remember telling us that at that time you were broken up with Mr. Alexander, right?
Yes, I'd broken up with him.
Well, you'd broken up with him or he'd broken up with you. One of the two, right?
I broke up with him
All right.
about a month
and
before.
and you broke up with him on June 29th of 2007, right?
Yes.
But you felt that it was okay for you to go over to his house in August of 2007, didn't you?
After he told me.
Yes or no? Did you feel it was okay to go over to his house?
I said yes.
And when you went
Get her
over
to
to his
answer.
house, you indicated that you knocked or you did something and that nobody came to the door, right?
I think she even showed up at his house before while he was engaging in like another like sexual act with another woman. Am I remember that correctly? Or is that something else? Because I remember she was talking about how like she like showed up at his house and like peered through the window and like saw him doing something. Or was that when she accused him of looking at PDF files? Or what's it called? Child stuff.
I went to his house a lot in August, so it depends on
Ma'am,
the incident
I'm
you're
talking
referring
about
to.
the incident that you told us about yesterday. Do you remember The one that you related that involved the killing. Do you remember telling us about that?
I did not knock.
And you did go over there, and at some point you started to peep in to the house, didn't you?
Yes.
Oh, maybe it's this one.
So that means that you don't know if you knocked, though, right?
I did not knock. I know I did not.
So you went around the back then to look, right?
I went around the back to get in.
You went around the back then, right?
Yes.
And when you went around the back, you're telling us you went around the back to get in, right?
Yes.
But when you got to the back to get in, you started to look at what was going on, right?
I glanced in as I was walking to the sliding glass door.
You did walk in and you were looking at what was going on, right?
I did not walk in.
Then you were from outside looking in, right?
Yes.
Never went in, right?
No, I ran out of the backyard.
You never went in, yes or no?
I said no.
And when you went,
Oh man, you could tell she's getting visibly triggered. She is like, damn, my looks and my charm, it ain't working on this guy. Cause he's just fucking, he's steamrolling her. He's essentially getting the answers that he needs from her. He's being super fucking pedantic, and he has to be. Because she's the type of person who's like a little bit dodgy and snaky, right? So.
and look, you saw something that upset you, right?
Yes.
You saw Mr. Alexander, right?
I didn't know it was him at first,
Yes
but
or
yes,
no? Did
that
you
was
see him during that encounter?
Objection, she's answering the question.
Overruled.
Over fucking rule.
I did. I said no.
Pardon?
I didn't know it was him at first.
You didn't see him when you were there that night?
I did afterward, yes.
That night, ma'am, listen to my question. That night, did you see Mr. Alexander inside that house? Yes or no?
Escucha.
Yes.
And inside that house, there was a female, right?
Yes.
What's the name of the female?
Man, I don't know if I believe that she even broke up with him. I thought it was him that broke up with her. And then, like, I could totally see, like, after the breakup, you know, a couple months later, she decides to show up at his house, you know, unannounced, see what he's doing, check up on him and stuff. And then when she sees that he's with another woman, she's probably like, fuck.
He didn't tell me her name.
I'm asking that. Did I ask you if he
know.
told you the name?
Because why would you show up unannounced?
No.
So, did you recognize her?
No, I did not.
And he was there with the female, though. You were able to see her face, though, right?
Yes, sort of.
Well, yes or sort of means two different things. Yes or no? Were you able to see her face or not?
Part of it was shadowed from the
Yes,
TV
no,
behind her, so I
Ma'am,
saw part of it.
Judge, she's not answering.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I believe that, like, she just, like, saw it and then quickly ran out. I feel like if you're a really fucking nosy and you're the jealous type, you would probably stare out there like, who the fuck is that? Who is that woman right there? I don't know. I don't know if I believe that she just ran out. I think she's still there. And I think she knows what the woman probably looks like, too.
Answer my question if you can instruct her.
Ms. Arias, listen carefully to the question. Answer only the question you want to ask.
Fucking Juan.
May continue.
Could you see her face? Yes or no?
Part of it.
But you were able to see that they were making out, right?
Oh, yeah, they were.
And so is that a yes? They were making out, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Is that yes?
Yes.
And part of what you also saw was that her brassiere was off, right?
I did not see that. I just saw her rehook her bra.
Pardon?
I didn't see it all the way off. I just saw
You
her
indicated that you saw her hooking the brassiere back on, right? You
She
told us
was
that
rehooking
yesterday,
it.
yes?
She was rehooking it, yes.
So you did tell us that yesterday, right?
Yes.
So that means that at least that her bra was unhooked, right?
It was unhooked.
And you stood there and they stood up in reaction to something that you did? Is that what you're telling us?
No,
They didn't see you.
they didn't see me.
But you saw, so what happened then is you actually were watching what they were doing then, right?
Briefly, yes.
Did I ask you for how long, ma'am? I asked you if you stood there and watched them, right?
No,
You didn't stand there and watch them?
I didn't stand there. I saw it and then I turned it around.
No, you know you did.
Backyard.
But you
I don't
saw
believe
enough
that.
to know that they were kissing, right?
Yes.
It's the curiosity. That's what it is. It's curiosity. People are just be like, oh, dude, what the fuck's going on? I don't think she saw it and just like dipped out. No, I think she lingered there. She was like,
You used the term making out, didn't you, yesterday?
Yes.
You were there long enough to see that one of the individuals was Mr. Alexander, not his roommates, right?
Yes.
You were able to see that it was a female, right?
Yes.
You were able to see that the bra was unhooked, right?
damn, every time she has to answer yes, it just hurts her so much. She's like, yes. Yes. Like, fuck, man. Her fucking ego is like, sorry, her fucking ego is like shattered. I keep muting it because of the hammering upstairs.
Yes.
And the lights weren't on, right?
There was a light.
Well, didn't you indicate that it was like a TV kind of light?
That light. Yes.
Right? So there was no light, there was a television that was on, right?
That's light.
Ma'am, was it a light or was it a television that was on?
It was light from a television screen.
So are you saying that it was the television that was on then?
Yes.
Okay.
And from that light, you were able to make all of this out, correct?
A lot of
Yes.
observations.
No other light was on, right?
Not that I recall.
And then you decided to leave, right?
Yes.
And this was at the point that you were living very close to Mr. Alexander, right?
No.
Well, you were living within 10 miles of him, weren't you?
Within 10 miles.
I was living by Greenfield and Broadway. I don't know the length.
How long?
So her story is she breaks up with him, although I think the official version was that people said he broke up with her. So her story is she broke up with him. Months later, she moves closer to him. And then after that, she shows up at his house unannounced and then witnesses this whole thing. I don't know if I don't buy it that she was the one that broke up with him. He broke up with her. She was obsessed. She moved closer to him. And then being also obsessed, she showed up at his house unannounced, trying to probably catch him on the act or something. Oh, man. I don't know.
How long would it take you to drive that?
But we'll keep
About
listening.
15 minutes, depending on traffic.
And after you saw this, one of the things that you did was that you took off, right?
Yes.
And then you thought about it, right?
Of course. Mhm.
And you felt strongly enough about this that the next day you called your father, right?
I called my parents' house and my dad
Yes or
answered.
no, you spoke to your father.
I did speak to him.
And you were crying, right?
Yes.
And you were upset about this, right?
Yes.
And you told him why.
No, I think I watched her recent interview. She still looks okay. Yeah, she still looks fine. Wait, I don't think she's 42 though. Hold on a second. I don't think she's 42. Is she? How old is Jodi? I don't think she's. You know. Wait, she is. You're right. What? She's 41 years old. Holy crap. I think she did didn't she do a recent interview though? There's one for 1 year ago, but I don't know if that's from 2013. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Do we have a recent interview of her? Oh wow, I can't believe she's in her 40s. Damn. Sucks.
You were upset,
Unless
right?
we were laughing in jail.
I thought you said
Damn
before
love.
that you didn't discuss these issues involving you and Mr. Alexander.
Not typically.
Not
I'm actually surprised that she didn't get the death penalty though. Yeah.
typically. You said you didn't yesterday and all the days before. You remember telling us that?
The violence, yes.
Oh, I see. So, but you did discuss the fact that you saw him kissing with somebody else with your father, right?
Yes.
And as a result of that, you decided to go talk to Mr. Alexander about it, right?
Yes.
What in the world gave you the right to go talk to an ex-boyfriend with who, according to you, you'd broken up with? What?
Oh my God, asking the hard questions. This is what I love about watching trial. People have to answer the questions. They can't dodge. They can do their best to kind of be a little bit, a little bit dodgy with the answers, right? But dude, fucking being put on the spot like that and being forced to answer the question, the judge is there to enforce it, and then you can't be lying too much because the jury's gonna catch on. Oh man, that's why I love watching trials. Answer the fucking question.
What right do you have to do that?
Because her in real life, she's probably so used to being, a little bit dodgy and snaking her way out of answering certain questions, right? Or just giving really elusive answers.
Objection, Your Honor, so argumentative.
Sustained.
Ma'am, did you feel that you could go and talk to him about that?
Of
She's so
course.
animated.
Why? Weren't you broken up?
Yeah, weren't
Yes.
you?
You were being territorial about him, weren't you?
No.
Damn.
Oh, you weren't? Then why in the world would you even care what he was doing?
Because he was trying to court me back.
That's you telling us that he was trying to court you back. If he's trying to court you back, you could have just walked away at that point, couldn't you?
Damn, that's a good rebuttal. She had a good answer for that, and then he also had a good rebuttal against that.
Yeah, I could have at any time, I guess.
Well, at that point, you could have walked away, right?
Yes.
You didn't need him for his paycheck, right? Because he wasn't giving you money, right?
He was giving me money.
Well, that was for some work, but you could have gotten other work, right?
I guess I could have looked.
Yeah, I think was she cleaning his house or something like that? Oh man, it's like the dream job right there. If someone breaks up with you, but you're obsessed with them, what's the way to get into their personal belongings or personal area, smelling their dirty laundry? Oh man, be their fucking maid. Holy shit. Oh, what's her ethnicity? No, I think she's isn't she like part Hispanic or something?
Yes. You worked at other places. You know you could have gotten other work, couldn't you?
Not in August. It's very slow season for restaurants.
So you're saying that you were restricted in only getting work at restaurants, that there's no other kind of work that you could get?
Restaurants is,
Yes or no?
I guess that would be no, but I hadn't thought about it.
So then, in addition to that,
Listen, if you could work in a restaurant, you can work at other retailers, anything that involves customer service. When you work in a fucking restaurant, you deal with some crazy ass fucking customers, okay?
you were living in your own place, right?
No,
Well, you were living with Mr. Alexander?
no,
You were living elsewhere, weren't you?
yes,
You were living in another place, right?
yes,
Where you were paying rent, right?
10 miles away
No.
from him.
You weren't paying any rent at all.
not with Rachel.
So, in other words, it was even better for you. You didn't even have to worry about having to pay the rent then, right?
Yes,
Ah, you got the good genes then, Eddie. Good genes.
And so, you could have just left that situation alone, but you decided to confront him anyway, right?
of course,
And the reason that you did it.
Look at
is
the
because
stenographer's
you were
face.
Jealous. Right?
no,
He's like,
And then you did talk to him
He's so
about this
into it.
issue, correct?
yes,
And he got upset with you, right?
no,
He didn't get upset and scream and run upstairs? Isn't that what you told us yesterday?
yes, he did.
So, ma'am, to go back to this issue involving the text messages, one of the things that you told us was that there was a text message that you sent to somebody by the name of Steve Carroll, right?
Yes,
Steve.
And that it was a two-part text message.
There we go. Eric, thank you so much for the $9.99. Thank you. That is a bowl of Chipotle for me. Thanks so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. Thanks, Eric.
very
Shout
yes.
out.
And after he got upset about it, one of the things that he wanted was to see the second part of this text message, right?
Yes,
And so you lied to him at that point, right?
no,
Well, you fabricated a second text message, didn't you?
after that point, yes,
So, are you telling me that
Wait, yeah, because I'm saying, is there a difference between fabrication and lying then? So he says lying. She's like, no. He's like, okay, so you fabricated. Yes.
fabricating a text message is not a lie?
no, I'm
Damn.
not saying that.
Get
So
him
you
here.
did
Get
lie
him.
to him, Mr. Alexander, right?
Question, ask and answer.
I can't imagine being a lawyer's kid though. Can you imagine just trying to lie and then your lawyer mom or dad just grills the fuck out of you about lying about certain things? I don't know. It'd be really hard. How old am I? Well, Jodi Arias is older than me, so or maybe I am older than Jodi Arias. Maybe I'm in my 60s. I'm in my 30s.
Yes and no.
So you think that
It's actually really funny because when people ask me how old I am, I legit don't know how old I am sometimes. I forget. I'm just like, oh, the easiest way to answer that, just tell them you're in your 20s or 30s. That's the easiest way.
sending him that text message and telling him this is the second part of the text message, that's not a lie even though you fabricated it.
Look at
That
her
part
face.
was the lie.
Oh, wait.
And so you then were asked the question, well, how did that make you feel?
Why do you say it like that? How did that make you feel?
When Mr. Alexander was
He's completely mocking her right now. Good Lord. I didn't know that lawyers could act like this in the courtroom, okay? I thought they had to be a little bit more, less animated, but yeah.
sending you these text messages involving Mr. Carroll. Do you remember that line of questioning?
I didn't lie. I fabricated it. What's the difference between lie and fabricated? What do you mean?
Yes,
Oh, man. He had to take a sip out of wine. He's like, oh, man, my throat, man. Going crazy
Apply a
here.
different standard here then, right?
Objection argumentative.
With regard to this issue of how you feel, isn't that the same way that you felt when you were peeping in his window?
Oh, my God, dude. Look at her face. How dare you say that was peep? What a huge fucking call out right there. When you're peeping into his window.
In August of 2007, isn't
It's
that
not
the
like
same
that.
kind of feeling that you were having?
the same as what?
as the one involving Steve Carroll.
I heard about that. I haven't gotten there yet, Ada, but I did hear about that.
I don't know.
You were mad at Mr. Alexander both times, weren't you?
I wasn't mad at Alexander.
You weren't mad at him, or you were upset with him then, right?
Why did she say Alexander? What the fuck? Why did she call him by his last name? That was like really weird.
At what time?
Either time.
Steve, Carol, no. The girl from Phoenix, yes.
And so it just seems that it's okay for you to lie to him about a guy, but when it comes to him being with some other girl, you decide to confront him, right?
You know, to be fair, do you guys remember when she was being interrogated by that cop? The cop was like, hey, you know, you should just kind of confess now because when this comes out later on, you're going to get grilled the fuck out by the prosecutor. And you don't want that prosecutor dealing with you. Oh, man.
Yes.
And one of the other things that you told us yesterday was that you were monogamous with Mr. Alexander, right?
Sexually monogamous, yes.
Ma'am, you told us you were monogamous, and that's what monogamous means, sexually, doesn't it?
I think it means more than that sometimes.
Very emotional.
Well, in this case, monogamous means sexually, doesn't it?
Objection, this characterizes
No, yeah. If you follow the timeline of her story has changed so much. We'll do like a deep dive about that one day. Yeah. It is very interesting. Like you get to see the interrogation because I think we have 2 interrogation videos. We have one interrogation video and then one where she's getting interrogated again while she's in prison. Then she goes on an interview and then she tells the fucking interviewer like, hey, you know, no jury's gonna convict me. Ha 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 ha. And then she was convicted and then she was like, oh, boo hoo hoo. Like, guys, I did it. Okay, fine. But don't give me the death penalty. I don't know. It's just back and forth a lot. But during the trial itself, I think she even accused of Travis of being a PDF. And then I forgot what else was there. But yeah, she started trying to blame him on everything. And she was like, I think initially she said that she wasn't there. And then when we find out that she was there, she said that like, oh, while they were together, 3 people or 2 people broke into the house and I just ran off. And they're like, well, why didn't you call the cops or anything? She's like, oh, because I was scared. But who in the right mind would fucking do that? Who would just leave a crime scene and just like not even call the cops later on? Hello? I don't know. And then she changed her story. It was like, oh, actually, you know, that didn't happen. And like, it was like self-defense or something. I don't know. It was just all over the place. But yeah, one day we'll do a deep dive on that. And then, because that shit does get pretty crazy. But I have to reread everything again.
Restate your question.
When you say monogamous, it means sexually, doesn't it?
Which time?
The time that we're talking about right now, involving Mr. Alexander, no other time.
Our relationship evolved, so...
I'm not asking you if it evolved. At the end, right when you killed him, you indicated that you were monogamous with him, right?
Yes.
And at that time, you then left the killing scene, if you will, and you went up to Utah, right?
Yes.
And when you went up to Utah, ma'am, you ended up with somebody by the name of Brian Burns, right?
Yes.
And you ended up in his bed, right?
I think it was a love sack.
Okay, and with regard to at that point, according to you, Mr. Alexander...
See, I think it's so weird how she answers questions like that. He's like, it was a bed, right? Instead of saying, yeah, she's like, it was a love sack. Like, who the fuck cares? Why does that make a difference? It doesn't make a difference.
Still wasn't dead, was he?
Does it make a difference whether it was a love sack or a bed?
It wasn't discussed.
Maybe it makes a difference later on, but I don't know. It's just like she'll answer questions like that where it's just like, okay, like just say yes or no. Come on.
Well, did I ask you whether or not you discussed it with Mr. Burns? I didn't, did I?
I wasn't talking about Mr. Burns.
I'm asking you at that time, didn't you tell us yesterday, at the time that you went up to Utah, you weren't sure if he was dead? Do you remember telling us that?
Not in Utah, from the Hoover Dam, or right before the checkpoint.
So when did you know that he was dead? Tell me that.
Yeah, her story is so bizarre. So I think the version that is out right now was she went over to Travis Alexander's, the robbery break-in thing happened, she escaped by herself, didn't call anyone, and then she went to some guy's place and like banged him or something. I think that's like the version that we're on right now, I think.
Well, I got confirmation of it on June 10th, but...
So, okay, if you got confirmation on June 10th, you met with Mr. Burns, what, before June 10th, didn't you?
Yes.
You met him on the 5th, right?
Yes.
And so at that point, you didn't know, according to your own story, that Mr. Alexander was dead, right?
I guess I knew. I wasn't accepting it.
I wonder if like this is like what liars do. So in order to like show that you're actually being genuine, you do like certain like actions like you're actually, you know, thinking about the answer. Like, oh, I'm actually in like thought about this when you already know that you're probably fucking lying.
You either knew or you didn't. Which one is it, ma'am? Make up your mind, please.
Objection.
Make up your mind.
Ask another question.
Did you know he was dead when you were Mr. Burns and he were kissing?
Objection. Ask an answer.
Yeah, he's so frustrated right now. Okay, come on, Juan. Keep your cool. Come on, get your shit. You'll be fine. All right. You need to throw up some hands right now. Jesus.
Yeah, I think I did.
You think he did, but
You
you're
think
not
he
sure.
did. No, you know you did. I feel so bad for his family that they have to listen to this BS. I wonder if they attended the trial every fucking day because just hearing her on the stand, especially when she was in her direct examination, I just feel so fucking bad for them.
I wasn't really in my own mind. I was out of my mind, sort of.
So if you didn't think he was dead, if that portion of you didn't think he was dead, then it's okay for you at that point. If
No,
you didn't
Mrs.
think
L,
he
this
was
is old
dead,
stuff.
to sort of roll around with Mr. Alexander then, and with Mr. Burns, then that was okay, right?
I'm single.
Right? Just like he was on August 7th of 2000, on August 8th of 2000, in August of 2007, right?
Yes.
Ooh, when she
So
was
it's okay
peeping
for
in.
you, then it should be okay for him, right?
It was okay.
Then why did
Really?
you confront him the next day if it was okay?
Because he was still courting me. I wanted to know where I stood.
And so because of he was still, your definition, courting you, you felt that you deserved an explanation, right?
Yes.
Hadn't you just had intercourse with Mr. Alexander on the 4th of June?
Yes.
And if he was still alive, he would have deserved an explanation then for you being with Mr. Burns, right?
Wow.
Well, no, aren't we? You're applying a different standard here, aren't you?
No.
You're saying, one, it's okay for you to confront him about the situation, but not okay for Mr. Alexander to confront you, right?
If he wanted to confront me, it would have been okay.
Ma'am, with regard to the exhibit number
Ma'am.
452, it does show you, right? Correct?
Yes.
And it shows again Angela, correct?
Yes.
Shows something else on there though, doesn't it? Doesn't it
Oh, snap. I think this is when they start looking at the fingers or something.
show your hand?
Yes.
And in fact, let me show you another close-up of that hand.
When was this photo taken? All right, they're talking to the judge right now. Admit the photo evidence.
And then also take a look at exhibit 452. Yeah, right?
Yes.
And you can also see the jewelry around your sister's neck. in
Yes.
Exhibit 453, correct?
Yes.
Surprised you didn't say dumb sister.
And you previously have told us about exhibit 452 and when it was taken and who's in that photograph, correct?
Yes.
I move for the admission of exhibit 453.
No objection.
Taken according to your testimony on May 15th. Let's take a look at that, of 2008.
Oh, this is May 15, 2008.
That's a picture of your left hand, isn't it?
Yes.
And that shows your ring finger, right?
Yes.
Do you remember that you testified that on January 22nd of 2008, you and Mr. Alexander were involved in some sort of violent encounter? Do you remember telling us about that?
Yes.
And you told us that during that encounter, he threw you down. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And while you were down, that he kicked you, right?
Yes.
And when he kicked you, ma'am, one of the things that happened was that you put up your left hand. Do you remember telling us that?
Oh, no.
Yes, both hands.
Well, you told us specifically about your left hand, right?
Yes.
And when you went to put up your left hand,
Oh, is it going to be one of those, like, where are the injuries?
according to you, he kicked you and he damaged your ring finger on the left hand, correct?
Yes.
And in fact, you even held it up for us, didn't you?
Yes.
And it was crooked when you showed it to us, wasn't it?
It's bent. Yes.
It's bent. Show us how bent it is again, ma'am. It's higher so we can see it sideways. Ma'am, if he caused that damage on January 22nd of 2008, that would have been before this picture that we have here, which is exhibit number 453. It would have been about 5 months before that, right?
It was before that.
5 months, right?
4.
4 months then, right?
Yes.
You don't have a bent finger here.
Yikes!
In Exhibit 4.
Yikes! No! Oh my goodness. And imagine back then, social media wasn't as big as it was now, but damn, I think they got pictures from her like MySpace, or she had like a diary online journal thing. And then what else did she had back then? MySpace, online diary journal thing. Dude, man, if she had like Instagram and stuff, she probably would have been really fucked.
453, do you?
My finger is bent there.
You're saying that your finger is bent there.
Yes. Just
Hold
the
up your
same.
finger again. Sideways so we could also see it.
But my fingers are straightened. This one stays
And
bent.
that's what it looks like, your finger. And you're saying that's what happened on January 22nd, 2008, right?
Yes.
Ma'am, one of the other things involving this particular
Wait, show us the picture again. Did it look bent in the picture?
finger, it seems to have had its run, if you will, of bad things happen to it, right?
This finger?
Yes, the left ring finger.
I don't know.
Well, you talked to Ryan Burns about it, didn't you?
Yes.
And you told him that that finger, the left ring finger, had been damaged, right? Injured, didn't you?
I don't know if it was the left.
You don't remember telling him it was
Left
the
or
left ring
right?
finger? No.
Uh-oh.
No.
Do you have a problem with memory?
Occasionally.
And so some of the things that you've told us, for example, then about other things in the past, you may have also had problems with your memory then, right?
Yes.
And so whatever you told us in the past is somewhat suspect then, because your memory may be lacking.
Oh no, yeah, that totally gets her. Oh fuck. So when she admits this memory issue thing, then he's like, well, technically anything that you said could have an issue because you said a memory issue. Oh god, a memory problem.
I only told things I remember clearly that are crystallized in my mind.
With regard to Mr. Burns, you do remember who he was, right?
Yes.
And you do remember that you went over to West Jordan to meet him, right?
Yes.
And you do remember that you did meet him that Thursday, and it was sometime around 11 o'clock in the morning, right?
I think so, yes.
And when you met him, you guys decided to go somewhere to a restaurant for some sort of business meeting, right?
Yes.
And during that time, didn't you have a bandage on your finger?
Yes.
Wait, what day
And
was
it was
this?
your left finger, wasn't it?
No.
It was your right finger then, right?
Oh.
Is that what you're saying? It was your right finger?
Oh no, was it the wrong finger?
It was 2 right fingers.
So it was your right finger then, right? Ma'am, are you sure that it was your right finger?
It was 2.
Pardon?
2 right fingers.
Do you remember then that you had a conversation with Detective Flores about this issue involving the finger?
Yes.
And do you remember that that was on July 16th of 2008?
Yes.
And do you remember that you told him that on June 4th, you had been over at Mr. Alexander's home, right?
Yes.
And you told him that you were over at Mr. Alexander's home
I think June 4th was when the murder happened.
and that some guy and some girl had come in, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay, so yeah, we're on like the 3rd fucking iteration of the story, or 4th, so I don't know how many she had.
And during whatever happened on June 4th, you told Detective Flores that it was your left finger that had been damaged. Do you remember that?
Yes.
So you did tell that to the detective that it happened on June 4th, right?
Yes.
Left hand.
Does that then refresh your recollection? And we'll play it so that we know what we're talking about.
Objection, she's already been into it.
We moved it in, not for impeachment purposes, just move it in, state versus Atwood.
If people believe her memory issues, isn't it better for her because her inconsistencies are more forgivable or believable? I don't know, man. I feel like if you're that inconsistent, then people become really suspect of you. It doesn't sound like you're like a reliable witness. And this is your own fucking case. You want to be reliable as your own witness. But I mean, now that we have like picture evidence and, you know, maybe transcripts for what she said to the detective and stuff that contradicts her story. And so I don't know how forgiving the jury's going to be. Because, like, you know, if you hear someone, they're inconsistent, if it's a little bit, then you kind of forgive it. But if there's a lot of inconsistencies with your story, if you change your story a lot, it goes against the pictures, transcripts, and other stuff that you said to other people, then at that point, people are just like, you know what? Okay, this bitch is just lying. So I think it hurts her. But, you know, sometimes when you lie, it's hard to keep up with all your lies and stuff. Yeah, that... Because I think when she showed us her finger, this one was like... I can't fucking do it. It was like this. You could visibly see that it like stuck out more, but this one doesn't look like it really stuck out. Hmm. What is this? My desk. Oh, is this the interrogation? Oh, this is the interrogation that I haven't seen yet. This is when she was already arrested and she was in prison, so I have not seen this interrogation yet.
You said you were fighting with her.
Yeah.
What happened to you?
She cut me.
Where at?
My hand.
Let me see. Where at?
You
Can you
actually
show
can't
me?
see it. If you look at my finger isn't the same though. I was.
Oh yeah, she's looking at her left hand. Okay, so left hand.
Let me see. Where did it get cut?
It was conveniently. It was right on the crease.
Right there on the crease.
Can you see? Oh, it's kind of in purpler color, I
This
guess.
one here,
It's
right
compared to
there.
this.
Yeah, right on the crease.
Oh, there's a vein on this one, maybe. I don't know.
Is this one here?
Yeah.
It's a little slice there.
Yeah.
Just a small one?
Oh man, I don't know. Just see her in the interrogations. I think she got away with it having this acting like a baby. Like, yeah, I think I got cut like right there. Yeah, I think oh maybe it's on right here too. Like, I don't know. I think she got away with like a lot of men who are just like letting her be a shitty person and then it's her doing the baby act. I hate that shit. It's the weirdest ASMR I ever heard. Oh yeah, were you here when I was watching a couple days ago? I was watching carpet cleaning ASMR stuff. Oh my god, it's so satisfying.
Or was it pretty deep?
I don't know how deep it was, but my finger hurt for a while.
Okay, so like right in that crease that you... Right, across both of them?
Not my middle finger. It cut this one a little, but not as much. This is where it really went. I don't know how it happened that all these other fingers were missed, but this one...
You have pictures of her hand?
This one, like I still can't close this finger all the way. It's as close as it goes. Whereas this one goes like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, my CTR ring used to fit both fingers, and I can't get it on this finger anymore.
So they cut pretty deep then?
I guess if you feel
Yeah, the guy that cleans old drugs. Yeah, it's so satisfying.
it, squeeze it, just feels like bone, like there's nothing abnormal there.
Mm-hmm.
But again, like my CTR ring slides right on this finger, and it used to slide right in off this finger, and I just can't fit a ring on here.
Okay.
It's a bigger size now.
What about this hair? What's that from?
That's my cat.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. She scratches me a lot.
Okay, so she has a cut on her left side.
Videotape, right?
Yes.
And that's you having the conversation discussing the left ring finger, right?
Yes.
And you demonstrated to Detective Flores that left ring finger, right?
Yes.
And you told him that this woman, during this attack on June 4th of 2008, cut you right there, didn't you?
Yes.
And you showed him, and the finger, if we look at it there, had the same aspect or had the same angle to it that your finger does now, doesn't it?
Yes.
Ma'am, the injury to your finger happened on June 4th, 2008, not January 22nd of 2008, did it?
That's not correct.
Ma'am, with regard to the story involving this particular issue,
Yeah, because that picture that he showed with the sister, that was taken in May, right? So she's saying, I guess, in January, she's alleging that Travis Alexander physically hurt her, and that's how she injured her finger because she held her hand up. But then I think in the May photo showed her hand, and her hand looked fine. That's what Juan says. And then June 4th is when she said, oh, no, my finger actually got cut there. I don't know. It's just hard to keep track of, like, all these crazy shit.
Told us that it happened on January 22nd of 2008, right?
Which issue?
The left ring finger.
Yes.
You then discussed it, or there was this
The stenographer. He's so into this.
issue with Ryan Burns, right?
Which issue?
The cut finger.
The cut finger, yes.
The cut
And
finger.
Two
then,
cut fingers.
on July 16th of 2008, you discussed it with Detective Flores, right?
Yes.
One of the things that you told Mr. Burns was that you cut it at Margaritaville while you were working there, right?
No, I did not say
You
that.
never told him that then, right?
I said at work.
So you never told him Margaritaville then, right?
Uh-oh.
No, he said that.
Uh-oh.
Right, but you never...
So someone else is lying. Okay, I'm gonna use the bathroom real quick. And here you go. I feel violated. All right, Christina. You know what? There's actually... She's got some crazy stares during this trial, but if I see any, I'll zoom in on it. Just for you, okay?
told him that you cut it at Margaritaville, right?
No.
You told him that you cut it at work then, right?
Yes.
And then when you spoke to Detective Flores, you gave him a different story. You didn't say that it was
Margaritaville like
cut
Senor
at work.
Frogs?
You told him that it was cut some other way, right?
Yes.
And then you testified about it in this court, right?
Yes.
And you gave us another story of how this happened, right?
No.
Well, do you remember that you testified that
Oh, that would be cool, actually. I wonder if there's a way I can, like, export, like, an invisible overlay, and then it'll be live. It will, like, connect to my iPad live, so if I draw something on it, it'll show on my overlay. That'd be really cool. I don't know if you can do that. Maybe. No, I don't think so. I don't know. That'd be really cool, though.
you were at Mr. Alexander's home on June 4th of 2008 at the sink. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
And do you remember telling us that you dropped the glass in Mr. Alexander's house?
June 4th,
Whatever date you were there at Mr. Alexander's house.
I broke more than one glass at his house.
Ma'am, do you remember testifying yesterday about how you suffered this injury to your finger? Yes or no?
Not this finger.
No? Do you remember testifying that involving your finger, your left ring finger?
So it's really hard to get her to admit to stuff, so that's why, like, we have to go into so much detail, because, like, we've been talking about the finger thing for, like, I don't know, like 30 minutes now, or actually 40 minutes now. The finger thing, the finger fucking thing. So yeah, it takes forever to get her to even slightly even admit to stuff.
Finger yesterday, as a matter of fact, that was cut when you dropped the glass when you were at Mr. Alexander's house on the day that you killed him.
I did not indicate my left finger. I said my
Oh, so you
finger.
were saying it was your right finger that you cut in Mr. Alexander's house then, right?
It was my right finger, yes.
So throughout this whole thing, Mr. Burns, when he indicated what finger it was, he was mistaken. Well, not he was mistaken. You're saying you never told Mr. Burns that it was the right finger that you cut, right?
We didn't discuss which hand.
Okay, so you never indicated to him in any way, shape, or form that it was the right finger.
Hi, Rachel.
Objection, ask and answer.
Sustained.
You ever seen that TikTok meme? Cute but psycho. Eddie, you ever seen that? You should look up that TikTok meme, because that girl, she's definitely fucking psycho. I think she, like, murdered her mom or something. But she became a TikTok meme.
And this issue of the 22nd of January 22nd, when you're injured, when you say that you were injured.
Oh, I thought we moved on from the
You
injured
kept
finger.
the journal, didn't you? You kept the journal, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
And you didn't.
Man, dude, these murderers, why did they keep their journals? I think even Stephanie fucking Lazarus kept her fucking journal. They were able to do a search warrant and get her journal, like, what, 20, 30 years later? Burn your journal!
Write in it all the time, but you wrote in it some of the time, right?
Frequently, yes.
Frequently. And you were writing about what was going on in your life back in January of 2008, right?
Yes.
And you would write about things that were significant to you.
Oh, snap. Here comes
Some
the journal.
things.
Right. And in fact, with regard to this particular journal, you knew that you could almost write anything that you wanted in it because it was going to stay private, right?
No.
Well, ma'am, let me show you, or let me mark one of them.
Hey, why wouldn't you write in your journal thinking it'll be private?
Your journal, right?
Sure is.
Why does it look like the Death Note journal?
Take a look at the entry, and just read it to yourself,
Fucking Death Note journal.
on Sunday, August 26th
Oh,
of 07.
The whole entry?
Just read the...
Is that the death note, Ken? Oh no.
6 lines.
Yes.
You wrote that, right?
Yes.
Take a look at exhibit number 455. Is this a true and accurate copy of those 5 or 6 lines? 26th of 07, right?
Yes.
All right, so he's just, oh man, look at when she stares at him. When he walks across in front of her, she's like, bruh.
Move for the admission of exhibit number 4.
All right, we got to skip a little bit. Trying to admit the evidence in. She's looking at her, she's reading her death note right now. She's just standing there.
Yes.
Questions?
Wait, do you find it weird that... Does anyone here that find it weird that, is there some sort of like eye condition where you wear your glasses, but then if you're about to read, you take off your glasses? I'm confused. Why did she take off her glasses? Unless these are like fake glasses or something. You think she's wearing someone else's glasses? Just to look innocent in trial, and then when she actually had to read, she's like, oh wait, I can't actually read with this, so I took... Why would you take off your glasses? But if you're if you're nearsighted, wouldn't you put on your glasses in order to correct that nearsightedness? No? Oh, she needs glasses to see far. Oh, but if it's up close, nearsighted. Wait, there's actually... Does Jodi Arias need contact lenses or prescription glasses, or are the glasses she wears simply a prop? Arias said in testimony that she is nearsighted, but didn't know until 2010. When she tried on another person's glasses just for fun, I didn't even know you could see the world that way. Everything was sharp. So that's when I realized I needed glasses. Anyone buy that? I don't know, man. She's lied about so many things. I feel like I just can't believe her about anything. I don't know. All right, we're trying to give her the benefit of the doubt.
But the first entry is the one we're talking
We'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She's nearsighted.
On that day.
So have you read the first entry that involves this particular snippet?
Yes.
Thank you.
I know. Maybe her eye doctor will come out and be like, oh no, that bitch ain't nearsighted. She lied. But we'll give her benefit of the doubt, okay? Let's say she's nearsighted. Do I believe it? I don't know. There's too much bullshit that it's hard to believe anything. Oh no. Oh no. We're going to the
This
journal
and your
entries.
journals were meant to be private, right?
Yes.
And that's what it
Wait, at first she said no. Remember he already asked that question? She was like, no.
says there. Well, I guess it's a good thing that nobody else reads this, because I write right now that I love Travis Victor Alexander so completely that I don't know any other way to be, correct?
How old was she at this time in 2007? Like late 20s? Late, was she not, when was she born again? Is this late 20s? Oh my God, this is like middle school.
Correct, that's
Am I
what
being
it says.
harsh?
Do you remember when we
Maybe high
started
school.
talking this morning that we talked about an incident where you went over to his house?
Yes.
And this was the incident that you referenced involving the killing, right? That it went through your head, right?
You talking about the incident in August 2007?
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And that incident in August of 2007, where you went over and peeped inside of his house, happened
Peeped inside the house. Oh man.
for this entry here of Sunday, August 26th of 07, right?
Mischaracterizes the testimony saying peep.
What was the last thing you said?
He said, by saying peep.
Restate your question.
When you looked inside the house.
Yeah, because I was like, is he allowed to say that? Okay, all right, all right. The lawyer's looking out for her. Although he doesn't seem very enthused, so he's like, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know, it just seems like he's just like, man, why am I here?
Yes, it did happen before this entry.
Right, and so really the reason why
It's a loaded
you
question.
confronted Mr. Alexander was not because he owed you an explanation or anything like that. The reason you confronted him back in August of 2007 was because you were in love with him and you didn't want to let him go, right?
That's not right. But I was in love with him.
Yes, you did write this though, didn't you?
Yes.
What was the date of that journal entry? Shit.
You kept more than one journal, you kept a number of journals, right?
Uh-oh, another journal entry.
Let's take a look at that.
Oh, no. Oh, my God. I just can't imagine having the entire world having access to your journal entries.
Through it. 002.
All right, back to the death note.
Take a look at it. Mark another entry.
More death note.
Other entries, but that's the complete entry for that one.
Yes.
Right? Because it's written in blue ink, right?
Yes.
And the other ones are written in black ink, right?
Yes, the one following.
Okay. We move for the admission of exhibit number 456.
Oh, man. He's like, man, if I could just strangle that little man right now.
Entry. This journal. Chronological time. The previous entry is on January 20th of 2008.
Yes.
So there's a gap of 4 days between the time
Hi,
you
Storm.
wrote
No, this is
on
old.
January 20th and on January 24th of 2008, right?
Yes.
Nothing in between, correct?
Not in the journal.
I'm asking about the journal, man.
Hold on, I was just reading about this. Australian currencies call... Is it just Australian dollars? Oh, is it just called Australian dollars? Thank you so much for the $7.99. Hi from Sydney, Australia. Hello, hello.
That's
Is there
correct.
anything else in front of you?
Ask and answer, Your Honor.
Wait, what did I just miss?
About the journal, man.
That's
Is there
correct.
anything else in front of you?
Ask and answer, Your Honor, and argumentative.
Stay.
In the journal, man, there are no other entries between January 2020
This is
of
spicy, man.
2008 and January 24th of 2008, right?
Yes.
If we then take a look at exhibit 456, let's see what you wrote on Thursday, January 24th of 2008.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You wrote, I haven't written because there has been nothing noteworthy to report, correct?
Yes.
Didn't you tell us, involving the finger,
Ooh!
that this injury to your left finger when Mr. Alexander went to kick you, that happened on January 22nd of 2008?
Oh,
Yes, it
no.
And yet you write here that nothing noteworthy has happened, right?
Yikes, dude. Oh, man. Everything's just falling apart for her.
Yes.
And then you also write that you turned down 4 offers for a date on Friday night, right?
Yes.
You were free to date, and so was he, right?
Yes.
And then you finish it out by talking about going up to the snow, right? See that?
Yes.
You're going to go up there skiing, you crossed it out, and you just are going to go up to the snow, right?
Yes.
Did you go skiing?
No, I don't ski.
Pardon?
I don't ski. No, I didn't go.
Right?
Oh, no. Burn the journal entries. Why would you keep your journal entries? And she was free for a couple of days, or a couple of weeks, I think.
20th of 2008. Take a look at exhibit number 242.002. Count the pages, please. The original left-hand corner with, in it, Lonnie's baptism, right?
I haven't read it. Can I read it?
Sure, go ahead.
Rest of the entry, I can read the
I'm
rest.
asking you about reading the whole entry of Sunday, June
Okay.
20th of 2008. Go
Okay.
ahead and finish it.
Yes.
It does talk about Lonnie's baptism, right?
Yes.
And previously, when you testified, you indicated that the reason you missed Lonnie's baptism was because you and Mr. Alexander were involved in a sexual liaison, right?
Yes.
And this was a sexual liaison where the Pop Rocks and the Tootsie Pops were involved, right?
Wait, what? Pop Rocks and Tootsie Pops? What do you do with Pop Rocks and Tootsie Pops?
That's what you
Like, that's like ASMR shit, right?
said, right?
I'd have to reference dates.
Well, why don't I show you a copy of the transcript then and see if that...
What do you do with Pop Rocks and Tootsie Pops? Tootsie Pop is it's a fucking lollipop, right? Tootsie Pop? What do you do? Like, shove it up? What do you do with... What do you do with... I don't know. Does it go into someone's hole?
Refreshes your recollection as to what you told us.
Yeah, but what about the lollipop though? If it was just Pop Rocks, I get it. But like, what do you do with the Tootsie Pop?
On February 12th,
I would appreciate.
Yeah, but
that.
all right, I will.
Let me see.
Starting on page 5. Bottom, read that
Would you like me to read it out loud?
to yourself.
Let me see. So what the fuck was the Pop Rocks and Tootsie Pops incident? I mean, I'm not really sure I want to know, but my mind does wonder what the fuck was it about. I guess it involves genitalia, anal cavities, but I could be completely wrong. Yeah, I was like, wait, where does the Tootsie Pop go? The Pop Rocks, sure. What do you do with the lollipop?
Just the highlighted portion?
Nope, just keep reading it.
Okay. Starting at the bottom, right?
Right.
For the entire.
That's not illegal. I can respond if you want. It's not a legal basis.
Approach.
The Tootsie Pops.
Yes, I started where you highlighted and
Well,
finished it.
I actually don't remember if he asked her what is Tootsie Pops and Pop Rocks. I don't.
Read it above
Oh,
it.
man.
Does that have anything to do with the Tootsie Pops or the Rock Pops? Or
Yes.
not? Why don't you read the previous page just to make sure that we covered everything?
What's on this page?
There is nothing before that, correct?
Yes.
Yes, yes, I'm going to
All right.
Respect 20th or January 21st or January 22nd. You do reference the Pop Rocks and Tootsie Pops sexual incident by reference to Lonnie's baptism, right?
Yes.
Oh man. Or sorry, I'm assuming baptism is like someone named Lonnie had like a baby and they're doing a baptism. And then like that in the same sentence with like Pop Rocks, Tootsie Pops, sexual. Oh my God, that's just too much.
The journal entry of January 20th of 2008 also references Lonnie's baptism, doesn't it? Take a look at
Yes.
Exhibit 458. This is 458.
Maybe Lonnie's a person who's older and then she was getting baptized as an adult.
True and accurate copy in front of you, the excerpt of what's in your journal involving Lonnie's baptism and the sexual encounter, isn't it?
Yeah, let me make sure I'm just referring to the same day in my journal.
First entry is identical on the first page that indicates Sunday, January 20th, 2008, correct?
Yeah, this is gonna take forever too.
Yes,
Oh Lord.
that's when I wrote the entry.
Okay.
Okay.
Then, as we continue on, there is the entry involving the baptism, right? Do you see that? That entry is there involving Lonnie's baptism?
Yes, I just don't know if I'm referencing the 20th on that part of the entry.
Ma'am, is there any other intervening date between the January 20th of 2008 where we started and the very end where you put JA? Is there any other date in there?
That I did.
Yes or no?
There might be, I haven't.
Well, why don't you take a look?
Yes or no?
Let's take a look
Let
at the
me-
first page. First page starts Sunday, January 20th, 2008, doesn't it?
When I wrote it, yes.
Does it start out
Oh, it was Travis's friend.
saying Sunday, January 20th, 2008, yes or no?
Yes.
And isn't it true that it starts out in black ink, right?
Yes.
And then it continues on in blue ink, right?
Yes.
And it flows, doesn't it? It says the words flow from what's at the bottom there to the next page, don't they?
Yes.
So then when we go to the bottom of it, the next page
She's trying to play dumb, but he's not letting it
is
slide.
also in blue ink, right?
Yes.
In the next page, there is no other date reference, is there?
She needs to review it before she can answer the
She's
question.
looking at it.
She's looking at it.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Oh, man. So much spice.
No, ma'am. Don't turn the page. I just want you to look at that next page to see if you see a date.
Like talking to a child.
She needs to review it.
Oh, that's not the question. Overruled.
I didn't write a date.
No, there is no date on there, is there?
No.
Okay, let's turn the page.
Turn the page.
And that page is also in blue ink, right?
Yes.
And there is no date on that next page, is there?
That's correct.
Then let's look at the page following that. That page, where you have your left hand on, that's also in blue ink. No, you turn the page, go back. That's also in blue ink, correct?
Yes.
And there is no date on there either, is there?
Oh my god, he's
That's
scary.
correct.
Let's turn the page.
Turn the page.
And then on the next page,
Okay.
that's also in blue ink, correct?
Yes.
And there's no date on that either, right?
So just to agree on like small little things like this, like whether or not the journal entry pertained to a certain date or not, like he has to spend so much time with her because she just like worms her way out of things. Like this is why we're spending like, I don't know. I think I chopped up a lot of this, but I think they literally spent like 30 plus minutes figuring out like, hey, this is the journal entry and it corresponds to this date.
That is correct.
The next page after that contains the initials JA,
He has to do like baby little fucking tiny steps.
right?
Yes.
That's for Jodi Arias, correct?
That way she has no wiggle
Yes.
room.
And that's also in blue ink, correct?
Yes.
Who's
And
Blair?
there's no date in that one, is there?
There is not.
And if you turn the page, go ahead. There's an entry for January 24th of 2008, right?
Yes.
We can then go back, turn the page once. We're looking at the entry that says JA on it, right?
He literally has to
Yes.
treat her like a
Go
child.
to the previous page, the one that you're pointing to. It does start, if I may have it back, with a word that's in quotations, right?
Yes.
Exhibit number 458 includes that particular portion of the entry in quotations, right?
Yes.
Then if we go to the previous page, at the bottom of the page,
Yeah, so he has to get her to agree on this in order to move forward.
it's also in blue.
Because right now the
right?
jury's probably like really fucking
Yes.
lost.
The entry that I'm showing you now includes that last paragraph, right?
Oh, I didn't actually watch the entire deposition video. I saw people were watching that on YouTube, but yeah, I haven't seen that yet. Have you guys seen it?
Second to last.
Second to last paragraph. Well, if you take a look at the bottom, you see that there's a word
Oh, I
that's...
apologize. You're correct.
Okay?
Oh, what game are you playing,
So, in essence, what we're talking about is that the one with the word that's crossed out then travels on to the next page, and that's what's included in this entry, correct? In Exhibit 458, right?
Yes.
Along with the first page that includes the date, right?
Yes.
And the entry, or Exhibit 458, references Lonnie's baptism, right?
Yes.
Finally! Finally! Look at her face. Oh my god, look how long it took. Oh, it's a dumb MMO? Okay, fair enough.
Please be back in the jury room at 1:25. Remember the admonition. Have a nice lunch. You are excused.
Lunchtime.
The record will show the jury has left the courtroom. Ms. Arias, you may step down. Mr. Nurmi, you need some additional time.
How long
You
is
may
the
be seated in the
deposition,
back of the
Charlotte?
courtroom. You need some additional time?
Yes, Judge, this is several pages and excerpts have been removed.
Take it up at 1:25. We're at recess. Please be seated. The record will show the presence
Oh yeah, I don't know what they fucked up. They had no video feed for like a while, so we might skip.
of the jury, the defendant, and
It was
all
7 hours.
counsel.
Wait, how did it get leaked or something? Lazarus? You mean Stephanie Lazarus? Yeah, fuck Stephanie Lazarus. I saw some pictures of Stephanie Lazarus on hold on, let me show you guys. Stephanie Lazarus. Dude, they got some fucking good ass pictures of her. I think it's on here on Getty Images. Oh my god, guys, look at Stephanie Lazarus. Oh my gosh, wait. Ah! How do I make it bigger? Oh, I don't know if I can. But dude, this photo right here, this one right here where she's just staring through the bars. Oh my goodness. Oh my god, this one right here. So scary. Look at, look at she's just like a little creep, like looking through your windowsill. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. Yeah, they got some good pictures of her. Okay. Anyways. Oh man. All right, no video feed.
Exhibit 458 is admitted. Mr. Martinez, you may continue with cross-examination.
Ma'am, when we left off, we were talking about the issue involving the Tootsie Pops and the Pop Rocks.
We're back to Tootsie Pops and Pop Rocks.
That can be referenced
Oh yeah, someone hit up the Vatican Church, please.
involving somebody named Lonnie and their baptism, correct?
Yes.
And regardless of whether it happened on a Sunday or a Thursday, that's the same incident because you missed Lonnie's baptism, right?
Yes.
Exhibit 450.
When did they release the entire deposition video? Because I always saw bits and pieces of it, but it wasn't until recently that people start watching the entire thing. Did they release it, or how did people get it?
8 is the entry for Sunday, January 20th, 2008. Do you see that?
Yes.
Yes.
And it starts out, well, I'm at the Institute building, Dobson and Southern, the sister missionaries, correct?
Oh, Incredibly Average got a hold of it? Oh, okay.
Some 2 blank pages, and then a third page. It says, so I want.
Yeah, because I watched him for other, I think he had like audio files that he would transcribe. Yeah. Very cool YouTube channel.
Went to the church building and met with the sisters and gave them a ride to the Institute building where I am now, correct?
Yes.
That's part of the same entry for that January 20th, 2008 date, correct?
Yes.
There are no, in the whole body of that particular entry, there are no other dates mentioned, correct?
There's another day reference, but not a date.
I'm asking dates, aren't I, right?
It's implied. It is referenced.
No, I'm asking dates. Do you see anywhere in those 5 or 6 pages another date?
Yes.
Show me where there is another DATE date.
DATE.
242.002.
Oh man, I wish we
counting
could see
this
the
as a
video
date
feed.
where it says Thursday.
It says Thursday night, though, doesn't it?
Yes.
It doesn't say a date, does it?
No.
We're getting to it. When it says Thursday, that's at the lower right-hand corner of this exhibit number 458, correct?
That's correct.
And your testimony involving the pop
Are these the
box,
ones?
exhibit number 457, does indicate that you thought it was a Thursday, right?
Yes.
You indicated previously that you were having trouble remembering it. Did this exhibit refresh your recollection?
Yes.
And so you're indicating I'm sitting next to Sisters Knight, who's totally trying to read this, and Lonnie, who was just confirmed today, right?
Yes.
And that's the Lonnie that we've been talking about, right?
Yes.
He was baptized Thursday night, which is the date that is referenced in your previous.
They're in volumes. I don't know. Should we watch it? I don't know. That's so long. I don't know if we could listen to her for that long. I don't know why YouTube just doesn't like emojis. I don't know.
Testimony, right?
I don't know why.
Shame on me. I was, quote unquote, wrapped up in other activities that pulled me away from attending the baptism. And the reason that's in quotes is because you're trying to get across something else other than being wrapped up, right?
Yes.
You're trying to get
Okay,
across
well,
that this
now I
involved a
got
liaison or sexual liaison with Travis Alexander, right?
Yes.
And you said namely work, but then getting prepped to go to Travis's house for the night, where we explored every naughty fantasy we could conjure up in our fruitful imaginations that we haven't.
Wait, I don't know if this is the video where you guys get to hear, I don't know, they were like phone sexting or something, and then hearing Jodi Arias phone sexting, oh God.
Already fulfilled with one another. I love him, I really do, right?
Yes.
And the fantasy
Yeah,
that you
JC's
guys,
is good.
that you're talking about involved the Tootsie Pops.
But JC's, they keep getting fucked by YouTube. YouTube will either remove their video or demonetize some of their shit, which is, I don't know. They don't show any gore or anything like that. But yeah, I like them too.
And Pop Rocks, correct?
Part of it did, yes.
Part of it, well, ma'am, this transcript that we talked about only talks about the Tootsie Pops and Pop Rocks, doesn't it?
No, it mentions bubble bath.
It mentions what?
The bubbles.
And the bubble bath is part of the
Tootsie
Tootsie Pops and Pop
Pops.
Rocks, right?
They were separate the same night.
Same night, is that how this reads, ma'am? The transcript, is that how it reads?
I don't know if it reads that way, but
Well, then
that's
take a look at 459, which is the partial transcript, and see if that's how it reads.
Oh my God, dude. Whenever I think of Tootsie Pops, I'm going to think of Tushy Pops from now on. Oh,
And
Lord.
it's different.
different. How? I don't know.
Well, the way you were trying to tell me that it was different, that it talks about a different sequence of events.
Yes, it references 2 different sequences.
Which do you see?
Events.
Are you talking about the issue involving the bathtub?
Yes.
Isn't that part of the Tootsie Pops and Pop Rocks engagement, if you will?
Not in the bathtub.
It didn't happen on the same day, ma'am?
Same day, yes.
Same encounter?
Yes, I guess.
Well, no, what I'm saying is, did he ejaculate twice that night?
Yes.
So are you saying that when you were involved in the bathtub, that was hours later than the Tootsie Pops and Pop Rocks? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Wait, so I don't remember what he's trying to get her to admit here. He's going at something, but I don't remember what. If anyone in chat remember, can you just type in the chat? I'm like, where are we going?
It was part of the same encounter, wasn't it?
Yes, I guess.
When you keep saying, I guess, you were there though, right?
Yeah, I was there.
And you were enjoying it, weren't you?
Yes.
And you enjoyed the Tootsie Pops and the Pop Rocks, correct?
Say yes, Jodi.
I enjoyed his attention.
No, I want to know if you enjoyed the Tootsie Pops and the Pop Rocks. I'm not asking you about his attention. All right.
I can't say enjoy would be the right word.
Well, so what you're saying is, when we talk about the Tootsie Pops and the
she
Pop
doesn't wanna
Rocks,
admit it.
you're saying you didn't enjoy it, did not enjoy it.
He's trying to figure out how many licks.
I'm not saying that
You
either.
guys.
Well, there can't be a middle ground. You either enjoyed it or you didn't, right?
That's not correct.
Oh, so you can go, in your view, you can go through an act and not enjoy it, but also enjoy it. What are you trying to say?
Am I allowed to tell you what I'm trying to say?
I want to know whether or not you enjoyed it.
Oh, shit.
I wouldn't characterize it that way.
So you're saying you did not enjoy it? Just want to be
If
clear.
you're speaking only in the context of the Tootsie Pops and the
And
Pop
the Pop
Rocks,
Rocks, sure.
I wouldn't call it enjoyed.
You would not say that you enjoyed it, right?
I would not say enjoyed.
And if we then take a look, though, at exhibit number 458, which references that encounter involving Lonnie, right?
Lonnie, no. You mean?
It didn't involve the baptism involving Lonnie?
I don't understand your
Well,
question.
then let's just take a look at it, okay? We're talking about, irrespective of the date, we've referenced that as Lonnie's
Yeah, I wish we had the video footage of this.
baptism. Just for point of reference. You remember we talked about that, right?
That's right.
During this encounter that we've been calling Lonnie's baptism, there were some Pop Rocks and Tootsie Pops that were involved, right?
No, Lonnie's baptism did not involve Tootsie Pops and Pop Rocks.
Ma'am, we both know what we're talking about. This journal references Lonnie's baptism, doesn't it?
Ma'am.
And you missed Lonnie's baptism, right?
Yes.
And the reason you missed
Ma'am.
Lonnie's baptism is because you were having a Tootsie Pop placed somewhere, right?
Yes, that's one of the reasons.
Okay, now we get to find out what it really is. Okay. The Tootsie Pop goes somewhere. Okay.
And this exhibit here, exhibit number 458, does say,
I don't know, man. Lollipop in your vagine, it's like all sticky and stuff. Ugh, I don't know about that. I feel like that's how you can get a fucking UTI or something. Some yeast infection. I don't know about that.
that
That's
you
sticky.
explored every naughty fantasy we could conjure up in our fruitful imaginations that we haven't already fulfilled with one another, right?
Yes.
This doesn't say that you didn't enjoy it, does it?
No.
It does say you did enjoy it, doesn't it?
I don't see the word enjoy in there.
No, did I say the word enjoy was in there?
Yes. You
I
said
did
it
say
said
the
I
word was
enjoyed
enjoy
it.
there? It says you explored every
Just FYI, this is at 1.25 speeds, by the way.
naughty fantasy we could conjure up in our fruitful imaginations. You're saying that having a fruitful imagination, that's not enjoyment, is what you're saying, right?
I'm not saying that.
And you're saying that every naughty fantasy, that's a bad thing, right? That's what you're saying.
I'm not saying that.
Well, the Pop Rocks were part of this naughty fantasy, weren't they?
Part of it, yes.
And they were part of fulfilling your imaginations, right?
His imagination, yes.
Oh, so it wasn't, so even though you wrote it, he didn't write this, did he?
I wrote it.
That's right, and those are your words, right?
Yes.
And so even though you say, haven't already fulfilled with one another these fruitful imaginations and all of that stuff, well, that doesn't really mean what it says. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that.
Well, it doesn't distinguish between Pop Rocks and it doesn't distinguish between Tootsie Pops, does it?
No, it doesn't.
And yet you're saying here that they are different, right?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What you're saying goes against what's written there, doesn't it?
No, it does not go against it.
Where? Show me here. Point it out where it says, I did not enjoy the Tootsie Pop encounter. Does it say that
I didn't
anywhere
write
there?
anything like that in my journal.
It doesn't say anything there like that, does it?
That's correct.
And it doesn't say anything there that you did not enjoy the Pop Rocks encounter, does it?
That's right.
And nothing prevented you from writing that in there, right?
That's right.
And you could have written anything that you wanted. It's not like you didn't have pens, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And you had enough space to write it because we know there was an entry after that, right?
Yes.
And it's a situation where you considered this to be a secret kind of thing, so that if you wrote whatever you wanted there, you had a reasonable expectation that it would remain private, right?
Reasonable.
Which means you had an expectation that it would remain private, right?
More hope.
Well, you were living with another individual. I think you said Rachel, correct?
Not at this date.
Okay, where were you living?
I was living at 9634 East Needle Avenue in East Mesa.
Is that an apartment, or were you renting a room?
I was renting a room.
And in that room that you rented, you kept this journal, right?
Yes.
So no one really had any authority to go into your room, right?
That's not right.
Well, are you saying that people in that house went through your journal? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying that.
So you did have an expectation that your journal would remain
This doesn't
private,
work.
right?
Does it work?
While it was at home, yes.
So you're saying that somebody broke in and looked at your journal? Is that what you're saying?
No, because that would be at home.
Well, you kept your journal at home, didn't you?
I
The
took it
world may
everywhere with
never
me.
know.
And so what you're saying is if you went somewhere, it could have fallen into the wrong hands. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
You never reported to the police that your journal ever went. Anybody ever looked at your journal, correct?
I don't think that's a crime, so no, I didn't.
Well, ma'am, did I ask you if it was a crime?
No, you didn't.
Are you a lawyer? Do you know what a crime is and what isn't?
I have a pretty good idea, but I'm not an attorney.
And so if somebody broke into your house and read your journal, you're saying, no, you wouldn't report it because you wouldn't think that was a crime, right?
That's right. Not the breaking and entering part, just the reading the journal part.
Oh, so now you're drawing a distinction, but isn't this where this journal was kept most of the time? With you in your home?
No, I misunderstood what you said. My understanding was that you were talking about if somebody was looking at my journal, if I would have reported that. No, I would not have reported somebody reading my journal too.
Does anyone here stream on YouTube, by the way? What do you guys use for, like, to show your chats? This is like, it's kind of delayed.
To the police.
Part of this encounter that you had involving the Tootsie Pops also involved braids, correct?
Yes.
And you have a definite opinion on the braids, don't you?
All right, let's see how it is.
Yes, I have an opinion.
And you think they're hot, don't you?
Oh no, we're getting to the pigtails now.
I guess.
Just say yes.
Well, no, you're the person that knows. We don't want you to guess. You think that the braids are hot, don't you?
I think cute is more appropriate.
Admit it.
Now, let's take a listen then. I'll have this marked as an exhibit. It's part of the conversation that you had with Mr. Alexander back on May 10th of 2008. I'll mark it. I'll have you listen to it to see whether or not that is your voice and whether or not we're talking about the braids. It has not. She's going to lay the foundation for it.
Jury can't hear?
You know what I really liked is when we were in the bath with the candles.
Oh no, we're getting into the audio now. Oh my goodness, so embarrassing.
Great.
Yes, there's an objection.
Bubbles. That's on top of
Oh, I love the braids.
You know what I really liked is when we were.
I feel so bad for Travis Alexander. Like, this shit is like out there because it's also his business too. It's not just like embarrassing for her, but it's also like his business is out there.
In the bath with the candles and I had braids. From her bubbles. That's on top of.
Oh, I love the braids.
I know those are hot.
Look at this guy's face.
That was your voice, right?
Yes.
And you're talking about braids, right?
Yes.
And you're talking about how much you like them, right?
Yes.
And you're also saying that they're hot, right?
Yes.
And this encounter involving the Pop Rocks and Tootsie Pops also involved braids, right?
Yes.
So you enjoyed those braids, right?
I don't. It's not a yes or no answer.
Well, we did hear you saying that you enjoyed them, right? Do you want to hear it again?
No.
You did hear that, right?
I said I like them.
When you say that you like them, isn't it true that that means that there's something that's enjoyable?
Yes.
Right? And you also said that they were hot, right?
Yes.
So during your sexual encounters with Mr. Alexander, if you wore braids, you thought they were hot and you liked them, right?
I liked his attention.
Yes, both hot and liked him.
Restate the question.
When you were with Mr. Alexander, isn't it true? If you wore braids, you lied.
Yeah, so it says that he was stabbed 27 times. I know the throat was split from like ear to ear, and then he was also shot afterwards. 27 fucking times. That was all the pent up anger that she had towards him.
Liked it. Liked them.
Yes.
And with regard to the braids, isn't it true that when you were with Mr. Alexander, you thought the braids were hot?
Okay.
Oh, no, I'm not
Just admit to it, ma'am.
asking for an okay. I'm asking for you to tell me the truth. What is it that you believe?
I believe that he thought it was hot, so it was hot.
So what you're saying here with regard to exhibit number 460 and that telephone call that was played during your direct examination, you're saying you lied?
No?
Well, you want to listen here when you say that they're hot?
Not again, not again.
I just heard it.
Right. And it doesn't say anything about you doing this for Mr. Alexander anywhere, does it?
No, that's implied.
It's implied. Let's listen to it and see where it's implied.
Oh, no.
You know what I really liked is when we were in the bath with the candles and I had the braids. Some of her bubbles, and I was on top of.
Oh, I love the braids.
I know they're hot.
Just look at her face.
That's your voice, right?
Yes, and Travis's.
Did I ask you if that was Travis's voice, man?
Yeah, bitch, did we ask you if it was Travis's voice? I don't know why she does that.
I didn't know which voice you were talking about.
It makes her look... Oh, now she's just getting smart with him.
Did I ask you if that was Travis's voice, man?
I didn't know which voice you were talking about.
Did I ask you if that was Travis's voice?
No.
We're talking about your voice. That was your voice, right?
Yes.
And you do say that those...
Imagine, like, murdering someone and then throwing jabs like that at them after you had already murdered them.
braids are hot, right?
Yes.
And you said it because you believed it, right?
Yes.
These two entries that we have here, these journal entries. Exhibit number 456. You start them out by dating them at the upper left-hand corner of each.
Oh no,
of
another
that
journal
one,
entry.
Which is exhibit 456 and 458.
Oh, this is the
You
same one,
also
actually.
dated on the upper left-hand corner, or the left-hand corner. Do you see that?
Yes.
And you've already told us that there are no dates in between the Sunday 12008 and Thursday 12408, correct?
Correct.
And you looked at the journal.
You know, part of me thinks that prosecutors, when they're doing their cross-examinations, they have to be this animated, they have to be this edgy because it keeps the jurors awake. Because, you know, if you're doing like a boring cross-examination, maybe the jurors, maybe they doze off and they don't pay attention. But like this kind of keeps like your eyes on like, you know, the cross-examination, you're paying attention to it.
Journal, right?
Yes.
There are
Because you remember with Camille too, Camille was very like quick, short with Amber Heard. She wasn't like dragging it on. She was just like straight to the point. Like boom, 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 boom. And it just captivated our attention the entire fucking time.
no entries between those two dates, right?
That's right.
And it's fair to say that September 22nd of 2008 falls between...
Yeah, because when you're at trial, you're there for hours and hours and hours. This shit can get real boring if it's just like, whatever. So I guess they have to put in a little show.
this gap
Captivate
here,
the
correct?
attention.
Correct.
And
Oh, my dogs are here.
nowhere do you mention either in this January 24th of 08 or January 20th of 08 document, you don't mention anything about this physical encounter with Mr. Alexander that you told us happened on January 22nd of 2008, do you?
No, I would have never.
Why?
I'm not asking if you would ever. Do you mention it there?
I said no.
And with regard to not mentioning it there, nothing stopped you from mentioning it, right?
Yes, something did stop me.
So that's why he asked, oh, you know, when you write in your diary, it's because you know that no one's going to read it, right?
You're saying that somebody held your hand and stopped you from writing that?
I'm not saying that.
Are you saying that somebody came into your house and stole your journals and said, you know, and took whatever was the journal there so that took the journal so you
Oh, man, that eye roll. Oh, dude.
couldn't write in it?
I'm not saying that.
You had the ability to
At
write
this
in
point,
it,
she
right?
is so over him. He's been playing the audio tape. I think he played the audio tape like 3 or 4 times already, dude. She's so over him. This is just, just humiliation right here. Guys, don't lie, okay? Don't lie. It's gonna get spit back into your face one day or another.
Yes.
You had the free will to write in it, didn't you?
Yes.
And there is nothing there, correct?
Referencing that incident?
Pardon?
Do you mean referencing that incident?
Oh no, she's
I
playing
can't
dumb now.
hear what you're saying.
Do you mean referencing that incident? There's nothing there regarding
Right,
that?
there's nothing referencing that incident between those two dates, is there?
There is not.
The reason it's not there is because it didn't happen, right?
That's not right.
You do say in exhibit number 456, I haven't written because there has been nothing noteworthy to report, right?
That's right.
So to you, getting this injury to the left ring finger, that's no big deal then, right?
That's not what it
saying?
says.
Yeah, you have to be extremely pushy. Okay.
Pardon?
That's not what it says.
I'm not asking you what it says, I'm asking you what you think. It's no big deal to you then, right? Right?
That's not right.
Well, you came in, you told us about it, right? But it's not written in your journal, right?
No.
You didn't call the police, right?
No.
You didn't get any medical care for it, right?
Not professional medical care.
Ma'am, did you go to a doctor to get it looked at?
No.
Did you go to a hospital to get
Oh no, no medical records, no doctors to back up her story. No one to back up her story. Oh
it
Lord.
looked at?
No.
Did you go to a friend's house or an acquaintance to tell them about it?
Definitely not.
And with regard to the conversation that you had with Detective Flores back on July 16th of 2008, you didn't tell him anything about that, did you?
No, definitely not.
In fact, you gave him a different story, didn't you?
Yes.
You told him something about these two people and how you got that injury to that finger, right?
Yes.
So you're saying that what you told the detective there was a lie.
Yes.
So you, in your view,
Damn, do you think he wore her down? Now that she's actually answering questions like straight up now. You think that he wore her down finally?
do you when do you decide to tell the truth? When you're in this court and no place else? Is that what I'm hearing from you?
No.
I mean, just because you're in this court doesn't mean you have to tell the truth. I mean, that's what you're telling us, right?
That's not what I'm telling anyone.
Ma'am, nothing has stopped you from telling this story ever, correct?
That's not correct.
You have free will, don't you?
Yes, I do.
Nothing the detective did stopped you from telling him, right?
Oh, that's the detective. Oh shit, because I've only seen like the side or the back of his head. Wait, really? He like gets a front row seat right next to the attorney? Oh shit. Oh shit, she's screwed.
Flores, no.
Nothing stopped. You had a car back then, didn't you?
When?
When this supposedly happened, January 22nd of 08.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's Detective
You
Flores.
could have driven yourself to a hospital, right?
Yes.
You could have. Do you remember telling us about an incident that occurred in August of 2007 where you caught Mr. Alexander kissing some other girl, right?
Yes.
And you told
When
us
she peeped through.
that, well, with regard to that incident, I called my father, right?
Yes.
And you told him some things about what you had seen and what had happened the day before, right?
Yes.
Nothing would have stopped you from calling your father to tell him that, right?
Well, sorry, I'm kind of hyper-literal sometimes.
Yes or no?
Nothing did that day.
Yes or no? Would anything have stopped you from calling your father?
Does this guy ever get a win? No, I guess sometimes she'll say rephrase the question, but I feel like he just always gets overruled.
Maybe, but
Well, ma'am, you didn't have any problem calling him in August of 2007 and complaining, did you?
I did have a problem with it. He had to convince me to tell him.
Well, you called him and you told him, right?
Eventually, yes, I did.
You called him and you told him, right?
Yes.
Damn.
You could have called him and said, hey, I got this problem with my finger.
Yeah, if you're dealing with someone like Jodi and you're not getting the answer that you want, repeat yourself. Repeat yourself and get the answer. Get the straight up answer. Don't let them dodge and weave around. They'll try to do that, but you just got to repeat yourself. And then just cut them off. Just fuck it. It's too much a headache to
You
deal
have a
with people
telephone,
like this.
right?
I didn't have a problem with my finger then.
Well, I thought that you told us when you testified that on January 22nd of 2008 was when you had this finger injured by Mr. Alexander. Do you remember telling us that?
Yes, January, yes.
And so in January 22nd of 2008, or any time thereafter, you had a telephone, right?
Yes,
You could have called your father and could have told him, right?
could have, yes.
But you didn't.
I wouldn't have, no, I did not.
I don't think they even teach cursive in school anymore.
And
They
no
should.
one knew about
Cursive
this
is cool.
injury or this supposed or claimed injury to the little finger until after you killed Mr. Alexander, right?
That's right.
Ma'am,
This body language is so fucking crazy.
you claim that on January 21 of 2008, you caught Mr. Alexander masturbating to some images of boys, correct?
I only saw
Oh, yeah, this is the lie that she crafted about him to try to turn people against him.
one image. It was a boy.
Ma'am, didn't you say that there were images? There were more than one?
There were more than one image. I only caught a
So
quick
was
view
there
of
more
one
than one
image.
image? I'm sorry. Was there more than one image, ma'am?
Yes,
Okay, but you only saw one, right?
one
According
clearly,
to
yes.
you. Is that yes?
That's yes.
And that was the day before this supposed thing happened on January, or where he,
Dude, that's so fucking crazy to me. She murders him, tarnishes his reputation by coming up with these lies, these accusations. And I don't think she brought it up until the trial happened, right? I don't think she mentioned it before. I don't think. And then not only that, poor fucking Travis Alexander has pictures of his autopsy like all over the fucking internet. Like, I don't know, that's just so fucking sad.
had this violent issue with you on January 22nd of 2008, right?
That's right.
All because of her.
And if we go again
And then like imagine like his family is like suffering because of her. Like, oh my God, I hate her.
to this entry here of 456, I haven't written because there has been nothing noteworthy to report. That's what you wrote, correct?
Correct.
The way you explain it to us here, this issue involving this claimed issue involving Mr. Alexander, that's pretty noteworthy, isn't it?
Oh, you're a tattoo artist. Oh, cool.
Not for my journal, but
Is it
yes,
noteworthy?
in reality, I
Yeah,
guess.
she
it is
can't even
very
admit to
noteworthy.
it. Oh,
It's
man.
noteworthy to you, isn't it?
It is today.
It's noteworthy to you, isn't it?
I already answered your question.
And the
He
answer
doesn't
is
like
yes or
the
no.
answer. He
Yes.
doesn't like the answer.
And it's so noteworthy to you that you
Yeah, get him to say yes or no, man.
waited until after you killed Mr. Alexander to tell anybody about it, right?
I waited years.
The answer is, did you wait until after this
Oh, man, the way she said that, she was trying to play the victim. I waited years, yes.
prosecution started, after you were charged, to tell anybody about it, correct?
Overruled.
Yes, I waited years.
And ma'am, one of the things that the way you made it sound was that he had a problem, right?
He did have a problem.
That's what you claim, right?
That's the reality.
That's what you claim, correct?
Okay, yes.
When back then there was this problem, did you call, for example, the way you made it sound is he had this huge problem. Did you call, for example, Child Protective Service?
No.
I mean, you made it sound that there was such a big problem that he even went and spent the night somewhere at a friend's house and they had a child, and that concerned you. Do you remember telling us that on direct examination?
Yes.
And yet, you didn't go to that person and tell him, hey, he's got this issue, did you?
No.
You didn't go to the police department and tell him anything, right?
No.
You chose to keep that allegation.
Yeah, really weird how you wouldn't write the injury or even like the, accusation of Travis Alexander in your journal. She just made it up on the spot. She was like, oh man, what can I say about Travis Alexander to make him seem like he's the bad guy? What should I do?
Until about 2 years ago? Is that right?
I'm sure they got access to Travis Alexander's computer at some point, right? And went through his like search history and all that.
I think it's almost 3 years ago at this point. No. I think it was almost 3.5, 4 years ago at this point.
Pick a year. What year did you disclose?
2009 was when I first
And
told somebody.
And you were arrested back
After.
in July of 2008.
After being arrested.
Yes.
And when this detective interviewed you, you didn't tell him anything about it, did you?
Definitely not.
What time did this allegation happen? When do you claim that, we know the date, what time do you claim that you saw this masturbatory activity?
It would have been in the afternoon after my morning shift.
And what time would that have been then?
Oh,
I don't know the exact time, but it was afternoon well before it was dark. It was still light out.
Okay, can you be more specific? Was it
She only knows specifics when it's convenient to her. Otherwise, she's just like, eh.
noon?
It was afternoon.
All right, was it 2 o'clock?
Objection, ask and answer, Sherry says she knew what time it was.
Restate the question.
If it was so noteworthy, why can't you remember the time?
It was kind of traumatic.
So, what? If just because weren't your senses heightened at that time that you saw this? Didn't you get angry or upset?
Objection, compound question.
Were you angry?
I was sick to my stomach.
Ma'am, were you
I was
angry?
not angry.
Were
You
you
guys
angry?
can chat by
I
this.
became angry later, but not in that moment.
Were you angry at that time, ma'am?
I said not in that moment.
So the answer is no, right? Were you upset at that time?
Yes.
Now get her to
So if you're
answer.
upset, aren't you kind of, your senses heightened at that time to know the time?
Objection, she said answer the question.
Can you repeat that?
Weren't your senses heightened because of this anger to at least know the time so somebody could check it out?
Well, you said because of anger, but I wasn't angry at that moment.
Well then, you see this, you're not angry and you're not upset, right?
I am upset.
Oh, you are upset. If you're upset, don't you think that that would have heightened your senses over what you just saw?
My mind doesn't work like that.
So the answer is no then, right?
Objection, ask and answer.
Just answer.
Kind of
the
moved in slow
question.
motion, so if that's heightened.
Is it yes or no, ma'am?
It's
She's probably running through all the scenarios in her head right now. Okay, if I say yes, how is this going to fuck me over later on the road? If I say no, how is this going to fuck me down the road too?
kind of a matter of opinion. I don't know.
And I'm asking for your opinion.
Again, ask and answer. She can't speculate.
Overruled.
Oh, man.
Whether it's heightened, my perception of things, is that your question?
Right. At that time when you're viewing this, the way you described this, bad act.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, it's something I'm never going to forget, that I wish I could.
You're never going to forget it, is what you just said, right?
That's right.
But you have forgotten the time.
I know it was the afternoon.
Ma'am, I'm asking you for the time.
Objection, Ms. Kirkers' testimony. She
Oh,
said she doesn't know the
no.
Restate your question, sustained.
You said that you'll never forget it, right?
The incident.
Right. And I'm asking you, isn't it true that you forgot the time?
time. Objection again in Ms. Kirkers' testimony. She said she never knew the time.
Sustained, rephrase.
You worked at Mimi's Cafe, right?
Yes.
You had been working that day, right?
Yes.
Your shift was over, right?
Yes.
What time did your shift start?
Yeah, it's like literally a child. Like, in order for you to get an answer from them, you kind of have to like baby step them to the thought process. Okay, well, let's figure out the time. Did you work that day? Okay, so when you work that day, what time do you usually get off? Okay, so maybe that's the time that you went and blah, blah, blah. So it's like, he literally has to like baby step with her.
It varied.
That day, what time did your shift start?
This
In
guy
the
got no
morning.
patience.
What time?
Sometime in the morning. I don't know the exact time.
You don't know the exact time, yet you knew that you had to be there on that day at a certain
Yes.
time? What time does Mimi's open?
I've never opened Mimi's, so I'm not sure, but they open early.
So you don't know the time that it opens, you don't know the time that you went to work, right?
How do you not know what time it opens if you work there? That's really weird. Because like there are times where I don't work open shifts, but like, oh, know what time or hours of operations are, because when you go, customers will ask, like, oh, what time do you guys open or what time do you guys close? Like, you got to know the hours of operation, bro. Did she even work there?
Not the exact time.
Just the morning is what you can give us, right?
Yes, early morning.
So if you went at 10 o'clock, 10 to 12 would only be 2 hours, right?
That's right.
Was it an 8-hour shift, ma'am?
No, they aren't 8-hour shifts.
So on that day, it was not an 8-hour shift, right?
Ew.
That's right.
How many hours was your shift?
It depended on the flow of business.
I understand that it may
No,
depend
man,
on
he's not
that.
gonna get the
How
answer.
many hours did you work on January 21 of 2008 on this day that?
Yeah, I don't know why the team even allowed her to testify. Well, I guess at the end of the day, it's up to her, right? But I'm pretty fucking sure they probably told her like, hey, don't testify. Like, just don't testify. Just don't do it. Man, I don't know, man. This is one of those things where it's like, why the fuck is she on the fucking stand?
This horrible thing you claim happened.
I guess she was just confident that she was able to try to persuade the jurors that she's the one telling the truth and at the same time tarnish Travis Alexander's reputation.
I would only be able to tell you
Nothing.
a range.
How many hours then? Give me a range. Since what you're telling me is you don't know.
I know the range, but not the exact hours.
So you're telling me you don't know the exact hours,
Yes.
right? And anything else that you would give me would be a guess, right?
Yes.
And, ma'am,
In case anything that contradicts his story later on, she wants that plausible deniability. That's why she wants like, oh, I'll just give you the range. Yeah, I don't really remember. Oh, I don't know.
you had a lot of memory for a lot of events involving sexual instances with Mr. Alexander, yet you seem to be having problems with your
Man, could you imagine Stephanie Lazaris? Oh man, if she went up there and testified and we had the footage for that, whew.
memory here today. And you also alluded to a little bit that you have problems with your memory. Is this a long-standing thing that you've had problems with your memory, or is this just something that happened recently?
Oh no, more memory issue
Your
questions.
problems with your memory, is it of recent vintage?
Define recent.
I don't know, since you
Bye,
started
Dave. Have fun at
testifying.
work.
No, it goes back further than that.
How long does it, far back does it go?
I don't even know if I'd call it a problem.
Well, just tell me how far back it goes. You said you were going to
That's
tell
what
me, so
happens
tell
when
me,
you
please.
lie. That's all. It's hard to keep your lies straight, you know?
How far back what goes?
We're talking about your memory problem, right?
I don't know that I'd really call it a problem.
Okay.
I don't remember every single thing that's ever happened to me in my whole life.
Ma'am, your memory issues. We're talking about those, right?
No one's expecting you to remember every single little tiny thing that has happened to your life. She's going to the extreme now.
I wouldn't even call them issues, but okay, my memory.
Well, you don't want to call them problems, right?
No.
No, I don't want to call
You don't
them
want to call them issues, right?
No.
I don't know. I really
Right?
don't.
You don't want to call them issues. You just told me that, right?
I didn't say I don't want to.
All right, so can we call them issues then?
Okay.
With regard to these memory issues that you claim to have, when did you start having them?
That's a question you can't answer. It's a hard question. Oh, man. This is a bad hole to dig yourself into. It's like now she's putting thought into it. It's just like, what the fuck? What kind of answer should I just come up on the spot? Like, what am I supposed to say?
It depends on the type of memory issue.
If it benefits you, you have a memory issue?
Objection, argumentative, Your Honor.
Or if it hurts you, you have a memory issue?
Objection, Your Honor.
Sustained.
Well,
When it hurts, sometimes I
ma'am, there's no question right now.
Shut
You say
down.
that you have memory problems, but it depends on the circumstance, right?
That's right.
And give me the factors. I don't want to know about a specific circumstance. What factors influence your having a memory problem?
I wonder how good her memory was during direct examination.
Usually when men like you are screaming at me or grilling me, or someone like Travis doing the same.
Oh, she's trying to get sympathy from the jury.
That affects your memory problems,
It
right?
does. It makes my brain scramble.
So you're saying that it's basically what you
No, it's when she's confronted by someone who doesn't buy into her bullshit, who doesn't buy into her baby act, who doesn't buy into her cute, innocent act. It's when people confront her and they don't believe the bullshit. Because even when she was doing the interrogation, during the interrogation, the detective kind of had to baby her because he's trying to get her to talk as much as she can and make her feel as comfortable, right? And try to trick her into, revealing and exposing herself. But with Juan Martinez, he ain't got time for that. He already has the facts. He's going to expose her with it and he doesn't have to baby her. So she's like, I'm not used to this. Help me.
You're saying it's Mr. Martinez's fault that you can't remember things that
It's also like the pretty girl syndrome as well.
are
So.
going on.
It's not your fault.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that. You can't remember things that are going on.
It's not your fault.
I'm not saying that. You're saying that, isn't it?
No, I'm not saying that.
Is there something about a certain decibel of the voice that creates problems?
Now, this is just a shit show. I don't even know if we're in a courtroom anymore.
Decibel, tone, content, sort of a combination of those factors.
You smiling? Laugh.
This is just a stunt. We approach.
You may.
Oh man, he's so heated.
What time, ma'am, did you get off of work for me?
Like I said, look at how much time it takes for him to even get her to answer the question. The first question was about the shit. What was the first one again? Oh, what was the first topic that we were on when we were? Oh, it was about the finger, right? It took us like over like an hour to get her to talk about the finger. And then afterwards it took forever to get her to talk about the date of the journal entry. And now it's like, what time? What time? What time? What time?
In the afternoon?
Yeah, she's still in jail.
Let me finish the question. What time did you get off of Mimi's on January 21?
He's trying to keep his shit together.
Objection, ask and answer. She's already said repeatedly she doesn't know the time.
Damn.
A time in the afternoon.
Can you be more specific
No.
about the time? Why not?
Because I don't think I was looking at my watch or my phone or any other clock.
Where did you go after you left Mimi's?
Left Mimi's. Oh my god, the way that he's
I went
asking these
to
questions.
Travis's house.
You went directly to Mr. Alexander's house, right?
That's
The
right.
condensation, man. The
And
tone.
what time did you get over to his house?
I'm sorry?
Couldn't hear me?
I couldn't hear you.
What time did you get over to his house?
Objection, ask and answer. She's already said she didn't know the time.
About 20 minutes after I left Mimi's.
And when you got there, ma'am, did you walk in?
Yes.
Did you peep
Front
through?
door?
Yes.
Was it open?
Yes.
Was it unlocked?
Yes.
And
Is there some there has to be a computer person that goes into Travis Alexander's computer to refute this, right? There has to be.
you said you walked in and you went straight up the stairwell, right?
Yes.
And you didn't say a word going up the stairwell, did you?
I'm sorry?
You didn't say a word going up the stairway, did you?
I don't remember.
Didn't call out his name, right?
I might have, yes.
And ma'am, in January 21 of 2008, you and he were broken up, weren't you?
Yes.
So it wasn't like you were boyfriend and girlfriend that you went over every day, right?
We were not boyfriend-girlfriend, but I went over almost every day.
Pardon?
We were not boyfriend-girlfriend, but I did go over almost every day.
You're mumbling, I didn't hear you.
We were not boyfriend-girlfriend.
Wait.
You really shouldn't mumble, because I can't understand a word you're saying.
Will Violet always be a blueberry?
No. Maybe. I don't know. But that's what you get from chewing gum all day. It's just disgusting.
If you hate gum so much, why do you make it?
Once again, you really shouldn't mumble, because it's kind of starting to bum me out.
Duh! Second, the amount of power it would take to convert energy in matter would be like 9 atomic bombs.
Mumbler!
Sorry.
Girlfriend, but I did go to his house almost every day.
And on this particular day, what were
I actually steal that a lot. I say it to Dennis all the time because sometimes he mumbles. I'm like, mumbler! Stop mumbling! I don't understand what the fuck you're saying.
you there to do?
He needed help putting boxes up in his attic.
And had you talked to him about this previously?
Yes.
Was it via text message or was it via some other method?
I don't remember. It was discussed.
Was it via telephone?
Probably.
Well, ma'am, how could you discuss it by telephone if you were working at Mimi's?
It was discussed previous to my shift.
So what time did you discuss it then?
It was...
Yeah, so it seems like they had an expert that went through the computer and they found porn, but they didn't find any porn that Jodi Arias was alluding to.
It had to do with, well, it wasn't that day. It was weeks ahead of time. It It was about the Christmas things that were in his attic.
So now it wasn't that day that you discussed it, right?
Once I got there, we were discussing it.
I want to know if that day that you claim this happened, if there was a telephone call in the morning.
I don't remember that part.
And if back then, what was your number? We've already heard it, but
831-402-1901.
Don't call that
would've
number,
been the
okay,
number
chat?
that you
Don't call
called
that
him,
number.
right? That you used to call him. That would have been the telephone.
I feel so bad. That number should be on like the do not ever use list, like the ban list. Oh my goodness. Imagine having Jodi Arias' old phone number and you get random people just fucking calling you.
That you would have used to call him, right?
Usually, yes.
That was your telephone, right?
Yes, that was my cell phone.
And you say, well, normally I would use that to call him. Pray tell, what other circumstances would there be that you wouldn't use your cell phone to call him?
Landlines.
Pardon?
Landlines.
You had a landline also at your home?
Does anyone in chat have a
There were
landline?
landlines in the homes where I lived.
Pardon?
There were landlines in the homes where I lived.
I'm not asking about the homes where you lived. I'm asking about the homes on your home on January 21 of 2008.
There was not a landline in that home.
There was not one, was there?
No, there was not.
So you would have had to use your cell phone to call him, right?
I probably would have used my cell phone if I called him that day, yes.
And now you're saying you're not sure if you called them that morning then, right?
I don't think I did because he didn't get up early.
Ma'am, so you're saying you didn't call him that morning, right?
I don't recall if I did or not.
Well then, I thought you said that there was some agreement or arrangement for you to go over there that day.
There was.
All right, what was the arrangement?
The arrangement was after Christmas, when he had packed up all of his things, to put him in the attic.
No, I'm not asking about that. I'm asking about the arrangement, about the time when you were going to go over. I don't really care about what the activity was. What was the arrangement about when you were going to come over, how that was going to work?
Just whenever it made sense.
All right, what do we move on to
whenever
now?
it made sense, you were going to go over that day.
Yes, that day was a good day for us.
And you don't know if you talked to him in the morning about telling him that it was that day that you were going to be over.
I don't remember.
And if you didn't talk to him, your coming over would have been a surprise then after working at Mimi's, right?
No, he was expecting me the first time.
How would he be able to expect you the first time if you didn't call him in the morning to let him know you were going to be over that day?
Because it was already discussed.
When was it discussed? Tell me.
It was discussed multiple times in the weeks following.
Remember the Travis guy was a piece of shit and treating her like dirt? Wait, what did Travis do that was shitty towards her? Because they broke up, he was dating other people, but he was still sleeping with her. I don't know. To me, that's just like, yeah, it's pretty crappy, but I don't think that's big of a deal.
Following Christmas.
I understand that it was discussed.
Like, she chose to engage in a sexual relationship with him while he was dating other women. But was there something else that happened? That, like, any evidence that came up? Because the issue that I have is that he's not really here. He wasn't there to defend himself, right? So we had to take, like, her version's word of it, like, and any other, like, you know, witnesses and stuff like that. But, like, I don't know. All I heard was just that they broke up. He was dating other women, and then, like, she was a side piece, and she agreed to it.
Multiple times in the weeks following Christmas. But in those multiple times following Christmas, did you pick a date? January 21, let's just pick December 26th. You said to him, on January 21 of 2008, I'm going to come over and help you with the Christmas decorations. Is that how it worked?
No.
No.
This is why you have to be careful with who you are friends with benefits with. Yeah, I have a friend that was, he was like having a sexual relation with this girl. They weren't dating or anything. It was just like friends with benefits. And he tried to like break away from her. And then she came up with this lie that she was pregnant, showed him a screenshot of like a fake pregnancy test and a doctor's thing. And then like, it was like looked up and then found out that, you know, it was just like a basic ass image on Google. And like, I don't know, it was just some funky crazy shit. Yeah, there are people out there that do crazy fucking shit. But yeah, well, you just gotta snip, you know, gotta cut them off. And hopefully they don't move closer to you because then you might be fucked.
No, it didn't, did it?
Hi, Sonia.
If you had an arrangement, there would have been an agreement, wouldn't there have been?
We weren't that formal.
Well, But you just told me that you talked about it though, right?
It was discussed multiple.
Wait, what was the evidence that he mentally abused her? Besides from like what she said, were there other people that agreed with that, or were there like evidence?
Multiple times, yes.
Right. And so though all those multiple times that you discussed it, you agreed that it was going to be January 21, 2008 after you got off work from Mimi's. Is that the agreement? Or is that the discussion?
I don't think it was that specific at all.
So what was the discussion then?
Just whenever we got together to do it.
So then he wasn't expecting you like you said he was when you came over that day.
He was hoping I would come over to help him with those things.
Ma'am, you keep saying he was hoping. How do you know he was hoping if he didn't even know you were coming over?
Based on our discussions.
So in your discussions, you told him, I want you to hope that I come over on the 21st?
I didn't tell him that.
Of course you didn't. The point is, you can't tell us anything about the circumstances of that day, can you?
That's not true.
Well, you can't tell us about the time, right?
Nope.
Not a precise hour and minute.
You can't tell us what you worked at Mimi's, right?
Nope.
What hours, right?
Not the precise hours.
You can't tell us what time you got over to his house, right?
Oh man, this is not looking
Not the precise
good.
minute.
You can't tell
Just imagine, this is day one of cross-examination. This is a rough fucking start.
us if there was even a telephone call that morning, right?
Hey Tom, no, she's
I don't
not. She's in
remember if there
prison.
were calls that morning.
Thank
Can't tell us
God.
anything. But you can tell us that you walked in and then there was this issue and you went in to help him with the Christmas decorations, right?
Yes.
And after you helped him with the Christmas decorations, you left, right?
Yes.
Drove away, right?
Yes.
Came back, right?
Yes.
And according to you, that's when you saw Mr. Alex.
Wait, Tom, did you see this? Sorry, this is just a really random segue. Did you see this? Wait,
All right,
let's zoom in.
All right, I quit.
Look at his
I'm
face.
going to the retirement home, eating tapioca till I fucking pass out.
I was thinking of the Aquaphor thing.
All in all, not a bad start. And I took it. And if you were in charge, it would have been an inspired decision.
What? Look at his face.
But you're
Oh
not.
man.
I am. This is a warning.
No, I remember this one time I had this really bad skin irritation and I had to put Aquaphor on my face. It was just like this, like dog hair just getting caught everywhere and stuff like that. Oh man.
Fall in line or find a new job.
All right, I quit. I'm going to the retirement home, eating tapioca.
Okay, sorry. All right, random segue.
Alexander engaged in this masturbatory activity, right?
Yes.
And according to you, there were
Did I rewind? Oh no.
multiple photographs, but you saw one of them in particular, correct?
Yes.
And you then left, right?
Yes.
And you left in your car, right?
Yes.
And you went home and...
Let's see. Hi, I'm confused. I thought she was already convicted and serving time. What is she on trial now? No, this is old. She's already serving time. Yeah, she's serving time. She's not going to get out of jail or anything. Calling your partner name is a form of mental abuse to me, and it was established that he treated her as if she didn't matter, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I just didn't get that far into the trial yet. But I guess, like, since he murdered her and, like, I'm reacting to this, I don't know if I would even bring up the, like, oh, yeah, like, he was abusive to her mentally when she was the one who's, like, murdered him and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I haven't gotten there yet, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
started driving around, right?
I went home, threw up, cried, then drove around.
Sure, you did all these kinds of things that afternoon, right?
He doesn't believe her.
In your car, right?
I didn't throw up in my car.
What's that?
I didn't throw up in my car.
No, you drove off in your car, correct?
Yes.
Well, isn't that problematic since you were driving Mr. Alexander's car?
I wasn't driving his car yet. We were supposed to swap cars.
Uh-oh.
Well, he didn't have a car that day, right?
Uh-oh. Oh, no. Oh, no. Is she forgetting the lies? I'm going to speed up a little bit. Oh, no.
We were switching cars.
Ma'am, did he have a... My question is...
He did have a car.
Isn't it true he did not have a car that day?
No, he had a car.
Well, ma'am, let's take a look at some of the text messages, okay?
Okay.
Oh, man. Not the text
Those
messages.
are text messages between your telephone number and that of Mr. Alexander, correct?
Yes.
And the incoming means that that's your message coming in to him, correct?
Wait, say that again. I'm sorry.
Do you remember previously testifying that when incoming was on these text messages that meant that was you calling or that was you leaving the message?
Yeah, and they scrubbed his computer and didn't find anything either. They found porn, but not the porn that she was talking about.
He's sending a message.
Right. And the outgoing is him sending it out, right?
Yes.
You also talked a little bit about the timing on there, right? The times that are designated?
Yes.
You indicated that, well, it was 7 hours off, right?
Yes.
That copy that I've given you has taken the time to write down the actual times minus 7 hours, right?
Yes.
Go ahead and review it to make sure that the times that are on there are correct.
Oh, man.
Subtract 7 from there and see if that's correct. Because it's important here, we don't want you to believe.
I'm pretty sure they're correct.
When you say pretty sure, it means you're not sure to me.
No, I said I'm pretty sure.
And it does not include his responses on there, or his outgoing messages, does it?
Yeah, it looks like it's blocked.
Oh, hey, Queen. Queen says there's no evidence of him being manipulated to her. All his friends said he couldn't get rid of her, and he felt bad because she was too clingy with him. They just had a good sex life together. That's what Queen says.
Right. Take a look at Exhibit 462. Same thing, right? Except that this one includes his responses on it, right?
Yes.
Okay. The times are also written in there, correct?
Yes.
And to the best of your knowledge, those are the accurate times that are written in there. Those are the accurate times that that message was either outgoing or incoming, right?
That is right.
Okay.
Hang on, let me check. Yeah, they look like they match.
Okay. I may have those back.
Oh, man, these are some
Yeah,
text
although
messages.
it says 12208 at 003850. Someone has written 121-538 p.m. because of the 7-hour time difference that you talked about previously on direct examination, right?
Yes.
And when we talked about, it's got your name on there, right?
That's right.
Don't
Got your
call that
telephone
number.
on there, right?
Right.
That number belongs to someone else.
And then it has the time of January 21st at 5:38 p.m., right?
Yes.
And then it says,
I don't know, man. When someone's crazy, I don't think there's really anything you can do. The best thing you could do is try to stonewall them, but that make them even more crazier. You never know how they're going to act.
as you say, I can't remember, am I coming in for you on Wednesday at 10:30? Isn't that what it says?
Yes.
Then, you see the next one at 6:41 p.m., right? You claim that you have already left Mimi's Cafe in the early afternoon, right?
Yes.
And so
Well, I didn't say early. I said sometime in the afternoon.
Oh, man. Juan's got the receipts. Oh, shit.
But you can't tell us the time, right?
That's right.
But at 6:41 p.m., you are talking about trading cars before FHE, right?
Yes.
Oh, no. He's just tearing apart her lies.
FHE stands for Family Home Evening, right?
Oh, man.
And Family Home.
Wait, I have a question. Does her lawyers, do her lawyers not have, I guess, like, they don't have access to this evidence before she goes on trial? Because, like, I'm sure, you know, before she goes on stand, wouldn't they be like, okay, so what are you going to say? What are you going to say what happened? Like, what's your story, you know? And then, fuck, man. I guess not, right? They introduced the evidence, like, in the trial, so, like, they don't know what's going on. Like, she doesn't know what's, like, what, sorry. She doesn't know that he's about to directly, she doesn't know that he's about to, oh my God, I can't, what's the fucking word? They do in Discovery. How did she not see this fucking coming? Like, why would she be like, oh yeah, this happened on this day, but then it's like, oh, hello, we have the text messages right here, and it seems like your communication was completely fine. Because essentially, he's contradicting everything she's saying by using the journal entries, by the text messages and stuff. Like, oh man.
Evening starts at 7 o'clock in the evening, doesn't it?
I don't remember.
Well, you were a practicing Mormon, weren't you?
Just don't lie.
Sort of.
And you attended Family Home Evenings. You were telling us about that, right?
Yes, I did.
And you attended them more than once, right?
Yes, I did.
And of all of those times that you attended, didn't they start at 7 o'clock?
I don't remember.
Yeah, just don't
They
be a
were in the
liar.
evening, but I don't remember the time.
Would they have started at 10 o'clock at night?
Because here's where things are going wrong for her, right? People are willing to give a amount of, like, they're willing to give some people like a good amount of doubt, like, oh, you know, they probably forgot, or it was a long time ago, bad memory. You know, you're willing to give someone like a small amount of doubt, right? But then, like, when things aren't adding up and it's a pattern, that's when you're just like, okay, you know what? I can't trust this person. They're probably just a fucking liar.
No, they were not too late.
How long? Isn't it true that they lasted about an hour, Family Home
Hey,
Evenings?
Christian.
Yes, roughly an hour.
And then the people that were there, the singles that were there.
Yeah, so Brian says Don't lie under oath, but just lie when you're not under oath.
would get together and
Tea time. Well, what kind of
get involved
tea?
in some sort of social activity, right?
Yes.
Bowling, that sort of thing, right?
My ward never went bowling.
Movies, something like that.
My ward never went to movies.
Going out to dinner.
I don't know. Do they have rehearsal? I don't know. I don't know if you're in prison if you have time to do that. I would assume so. You would do like a practice, like direct examination, cross examination. What? Cheese tea? What is that?
Dinner.
Cheese tea.
It was usually at the church.
Fuck is cheese tea?
But it could also be at people's houses, right?
Yes.
And then at 7:19 p.m., you're sending him a text. Never mind, one of the stores I need to go to closes at 8 p.m. I'll just go tomorrow, right?
That's right.
That's evening now, right?
Yes.
You said that this incident involving the masturbatory conduct occurred in the afternoon, right?
I'm sorry, but when he says masturbatory, I don't know why it's so funny when he says it. Masturbatory. Masturbatory.
Right?
It did.
I think it's because he's so fucking serious when he says it.
So it would have happened before 7:19 p.m., right?
Yes.
And you were already gone. You were wherever, right?
Yes.
And you told us, though, that no, he kept calling you, and then you said you called him back, right?
Wait, the trial was in... Oh, it was in 2013, I think. Yeah, 2013. You know her trial cost the state over $3 fucking million? $3 million.
Yes, I did.
And then you went out and got him something from, I think it was Starbucks or something, and you brought him something over.
Oh,
Do you remember saying
tiramisu.
that?
Oh, that sounds pretty good, actually.
Not that day.
Well, then you went over to his house, though, right?
I did.
And you went over and then you had sex with him, right?
Yes.
What time did you go over to his house?
It was in the evening.
What time?
Don't know the time.
Well, if he's going to family home evening, he's not going to be...
Yeah, the trials of convicted murderer Jodi A. in Arizona will end up costing taxpayers more than $3.2 million to cover defense and prosecution expenses during the closely watched proceedings. 3.2. Were they able to make any money off the live streams or anything? I don't think it was live stream, right? I think they posted the live stream after the trial ended. I don't think it was live. I think.
Around, if it starts, assume it starts at 7, he's not going to be around at 7 o'clock, is he?
Oh, you lived in Phoenix?
If, just for hypothetically speaking, man, if family home evening starts at 7 o'clock.
I want to use that, ma'am. Oh, man. Camille should have called AH ma'am. Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am!
He's not going to be home at 7 p.m., is he?
Objection, I assume he had to be there.
If he went, then he wouldn't be.
I'm not asking if he went. If it
You're
starts
alive.
at 7 o'clock.
You live in Phoenix. The
he-
court was crazy packed with people.
He would not have been home,
Oh, man. Did they have to line up and get wristbands, too, as well?
right?
Objection, I assume the facts under him was that he was there.
Oh, it was live on court TV?
It wouldn't necessarily mean that because it doesn't mean that he went. But that night,
Now, I'm saying hypothetically. That means assume
Okay,
that he
yes.
went to family home evening. And if it started at 7, he wouldn't have been at his house, right?
that's right.
And if he has become involved in this masturbatory conduct, why are you worried about trading cars with him?
Because you lying. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Okay, let's see how she gets herself out of this one.
I think he wanted to trade the car.
Ma'am, this is not him writing that out there, is it?
I wanted to do it before he wanted to trade the car.
Well, why don't we take a look at his, which is 462. This is the one that includes his responses, right?
Yes.
Take a look at it and see who's concerned about trading cars.
How long did it take for the jury to deliberate? Jodi Arias. Jury deliberation.
It indicates the back and forth involving the car, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
I move for the admission of exhibit number 462. Ma'am, do you know who Alice Laviolette is?
Yes.
She's somebody that is assisting you in this case, isn't it?
Yes.
Isn't it true that you told her that the masturbatory conduct involving Mr. Alexander took place while he was on the computer?
No, I never said that.
Isn't it true that you've heard a statement from her indicating that you told her that the masturbatory conduct took place while he was on the computer?
No, I've never heard her say that.
Ma'am, were you here at a hearing?
Objection, Your Honor.
Oh, no. Oh no. Hold on a second. How long did it take for jury deliberation?
You told her that you saw Mr. Alexander masturbating to images on a computer.
No, I heard you say that in the hearing.
Well, ma'am, do you remember that I played a snippet with her voice on it?
Yes, but I couldn't understand it.
Did you hear that snippet? Yes or no?
I heard it, but I didn't understand it.
I'm not asking you if you understood it. Isn't it true that you were here when that snippet was played?
Yes.
And that snippet involved whether or not she had ever told the prosecution that you told her that you saw Mr. Alexander masturbating to images on a computer.
That's right.
Let me go ahead and continue with the text messages. This is now Exhibit 462. And it includes the outgoing, which is Mr. Alexander's text messages, right?
That's right.
And we were talking about exchanging cars before going to FHE.
Oh my God. He has to go over this over and over and over again just to try to get her to admit to it.
Family home evening, right?
Yes.
And ma'am, you did indicate something about whether or not you called them.
Crazy. I feel like if I was a jury, my mind would just be like, what the fuck, dude?
Did you say you did or did not call him that morning?
I said I don't remember.
So it could be true that you...
Arizona inmate database. Is she on one of those things? Have you guys heard about the inmate like letters thing? Like you can send letters to like certain inmates and I don't know, it's like some really weird website where you can write letters to them and stuff like that and then form a relationship with them. I forgot how I found out about that. It was another trial that happened.
You did not call him at all that morning.
Objection, compound question. Sustained.
So
it's like a whole database of them and you can choose like them by age, by how long they're convicted for. I don't know, it's like really interesting. Fuck, I forgot how I found that out.
it is true that you do not know if you called him that morning. So, well, let me do this. It could be you did not call him that morning.
Oh my God, no, Nocturnal, no. What if she latches on to me? Oh my God.
It could be because I don't remember.
And again, is this issue with your lack of memory because of the questions, the way they're being posed?
No.
Is it have to do with the volume of the person asking you the questions?
No, I think the length of time.
Is it yes or no? The volume?
Then that would be no.
So at 7:20, you send her, or send him, a text message. Never mind, one of the stores I need to go closes at 8.
Oh, the jury deliberated for about 26 hours before reaching his decision in the Jodi Arias trial. But they couldn't decide whether or not she would receive death penalty. Okay.
I'll just go tomorrow. So that was 1 minute later. It's the same message that you sent before, correct?
That's correct.
And then Mr. Alexander sends you a text message at 7:24 p.m., right?
Right.
And he says, I got a ride from some peeps in the ward now. You can just go get it. Let me know when you made the exchange. Isn't he telling you that he went to the family home evening there?
Yes.
Oh, so he wasn't even at home.
So he did go to the family home evening, right?
I'm assuming.
Well, there's nothing else that's indicated here other than family home evening, right?
Hell no! You guys do it. I'm good.
And family home evening, from your experience, when you were going home.
What if something crazy happens and she escapes prison? No, she can find me.
Usually about an hour. Depends on the event. Sometimes there are special events that go longer.
And then there are other events that may come along afterwards, right?
I don't know. I usually went home after FHE.
To your knowledge, ma'am, these family home evenings, did they end after the hour, or were there chances, sometimes, even though you may not have attended, that they would go on longer than that?
Objection calls for speculation as what happened on January 21st.
Overruled, that was not the question.
I guess that's
Damn.
always a chance.
Well, I'm asking.
Wait, why did someone in here didn't like Judge Sherry? Why didn't you guys like Judge Sherry? She seems to be doing okay. Is it later on or something? Or I don't know. This is like the only one that I'm watching.
From your knowledge, when you were going.
Why did you not like Judge Sherry?
Typically, we all dispersed. It was a Monday night. We didn't hang out too late.
Okay.
I don't know, Ada.
And
I'm living a chill life.
7:25, you send him a text message that appears to be in response to that one, right? Because it's 1 minute later, right?
Yes.
And you say, I'm almost asleep. We'll see, right?
Right.
And what you're talking about.
It's the ones that don't look intimidating that are the scariest, okay? Oh, Lazarus.
Exchanging the car, right?
Lazarus is pretty bad.
The big concern here is exchanging the car, right?
Yes.
It doesn't have anything to do with what you claim you saw, right?
We're talking about the car hitting the sex message.
Right. It doesn't. And the point here is that you're talking about very pedestrian issues. such as exchanging a car. You're not talking about, Travis, I saw you masturbating or anything like that, right?
It wasn't a
She took
pedestrian issue
photos
with
of him
Travis.
in the
Pardon?
shower.
The car was not a pedestrian issue with Travis.
Well, so you're equating this issue with the car the same as him masturbating to images as kids. Is that what you're saying?
Not by a long shot. No, that's not what I'm saying.
Then he's talking about you obviously don't need it that bad. I got a ride so you could go get the car. Now you're going to sleep? That's what he tells you, right?
Yes.
He's made or tried to make arrangements for you to pick up your car, right?
I don't remember which car I was driving.
Well, he didn't have a car because he got a ride with somebody else, right?
That's not why he got a ride.
Well, when he's riding with somebody else, his car's not with him, right?
That's right.
And so he's without a car at family home meeting or wherever it is that he went, right?
Yes.
You have a car, right?
Yes.
His car, right?
Objection, she's asking answer.
I don't remember which car I was driving.
Well, it wouldn't have been his car because you wouldn't have needed to exchange his.
Man, I feel like every time she got into his car to use it, the first thing she did was she went to the seat of the car and just like sniffed the sniffed the seat of his car like, ah, Travis. Ah.
Car for his car, right?
It would have been mine or his.
Right. So you're driving your car, right?
Objection.
Trying to get the day old farts in.
I've already said that I don't remember which car I'm driving.
There, you indicated previously that after this happened, you went home and he kept trying to call you over and over.
I mean, think about it. Why else would she be his maid? Why else would she be hired to clean after him? Because she probably wanted to be in his territory, in his room, you know, doing his like dirty laundry, inspect to see if any girls came over, probably looked at the trash to find some condoms and stuff. Like, I don't know, man. She probably did some batshit crazy stuff like that.
Right?
I had voicemails from him or missed calls.
It means he kept trying to call you over and over again, right?
Right.
Whether you left voicemails or whatever, he kept trying to call you, right?
I don't know. Someone said something about the it was the doggy door, and someone said something else. Oh, that she wore a diaper or something. I don't know. I gotta look that up because I never heard of that before. I don't think.
Yeah, he did.
And you didn't respond to those calls, right?
Not immediately that I remember.
Well-
I was in the visitation center, the visitor
Excuse me?
center, so I had my phone volume off.
You were what?
I was at the visitor center,
What visitor center are you talking about?
the one next to the Mesa Temple.
And is that where you went after this incident happened?
That's where I ended up after driving.
Is this where you were almost asleep?
No, this was after the fact.
So now you're back at home.
Yes.
Right? And in between then, and well, in between what you say you saw and when you were home, that's when you have all these calls, right?
From the time I ran out of his house, he called.
From the time you ran out of his house till what time at night are these calls coming in?
Till I called him back.
When? What time?
As soon as I left the visitor center, I called
All right. So
him.
what are we getting at now?
So you're sure that there's a bunch of calls that he made to you. And
Oh,
then
the
they
astronaut
sort of
one?
piled
Wait, which
up,
one's the
whether they're voice
astronaut
messages
chick?
or missed calls, and then you returned his call, right?
That's how I remember it, yes.
Okay. Actually, that's not the way it really went on that day. Isn't it true, man, that there were actually 5 calls that day between you and him, where he called you 5 times and you called him back 5 times? Did you know that?
That there were many more than 5. There may be 5 from his cell phone.
I'm asking cell phone to cell phone, and you're saying that at that time you only had your cell phone, right?
I only had my cell phone.
Right.
At the visitor center.
Right. And he left you 5 calls, or he left you calls, right?
Yes.
And actually, there were only 5 calls from him all day long to you on the 21st. Isn't that true?
Wait, what was the name of the astronaut? Wait, what? I think there's another one who was on trial, wore a diaper to travel long distance for a boyfriend's house. Wait, who? What's their name? The Ezra one or someone else?
That's not true.
Isn't it true there was only 5 return calls from you on that day?
That might be true.
And in fact, when you say that he was calling you all the time, actually didn't it go this way that you called him at 3:53 in the evening or the afternoon, didn't you?
That sounds accurate.
And then you called him again at 4:09 in the evening, didn't you?
That sounds accurate.
And he returned your call at 4:29, right?
I believe he did.
And then you called him back at 4:53, right?
That sounds accurate.
I don't know. Why would she even remember that from memory? I'd be like, can I see the phone call records, please? I don't fucking know. If you didn't remember all the other details about like what time you got off work roughly, what time you saw the Travis Alexander doing the whatever computer thing, like, I don't know. It's just really weird how now all of a sudden, like that same day, and he's giving all these exact times. She's like, yeah, that sounds accurate. Yeah, that sounds accurate. I don't know. I wouldn't even fucking remember. I'd be like, I don't fucking know.
I thought you said that there was this issue that you were not returning his call. It looks like you're returning his call, and he's calling you back.
Well, that's probably a cell phone.
Yeah, it's really sad that Travis's photos are like all over the internet too.
Yeah, but he has a landline that he called me on frequently.
Right, but I'm talking about on that day, the calls that were made. What was his landline number, ma'am?
I don't have it memorized because it was just in my phone as Travis Alexander.
So you called him at 4:53, isn't it true, p.m., and he returned your call then at 4:54 p.m. Do you remember that?
I don't recall that specific, but...
Isn't it true he then called you back at 5:11 p.m.? Remember that?
Not specifically.
How about him calling you back at 5:20 p.m.?
I don't remember specifically.
And how about him calling you back at 5:48 p.m.?
I just know he called me a lot that day.
And then you returned his call at 5:53 p.m. Do you remember
Well, I
any of
thought she
that?
said that sounds about right. Now she doesn't remember? I'm confused.
The time sounds accurate.
Well,
where are we getting at?
Have these calls, and then it picks up with text messages. You see that?
Yes.
The communication does, right?
Yes.
So there was never a time when, as you said previously, where you and he were not communicating. You're either communicating by telephone or by text message, aren't you?
No, there's a gap.
Well, you said that it was right that you called him at 5:53 p.m., right? You just said that that sounds right.
It sounds about right. I don't remember the times.
Right. And then...
Lisa Nowak? 900 miles? What the? No, I don't know who that is. I have to look that person up.
The first message after this call that you said sounds right at 5:53 p.m. is at 6:41, right?
Yes.
Less than an hour later, right?
The text, yes.
And then there's one at 7:19, right?
Yes.
And if we say, hypothetically speaking, that family home evening starts at 7, he's already at family home evening by the time that he sends you this text at 7:24, right?
That's right.
At 7:29 p.m. I fell asleep and a phone call woke me up, right?
What date is that?
The 21st, man.
That's right. Okay.
I fell asleep and a phone call woke me up. I thought you said you were at the LDS Center off of Dobson and Southern.
Not by this time.
Well, I thought you were asleep.
I went home and crashed. I had been crying and I had a migraine.
So, when did you go to sleep? Give us a time.
I don't have a time that I fell asleep. I went to sleep after I left the visitor center.
Well, when did you have time to sleep if you're calling him back and he's calling you, and then right after that, you begin texting back and forth? When is it that you find the time to sleep?
Well, I didn't sleep for a long period of time. I just dozed off.
Wait, how do you go from attempted murder and kidnapping, but then it gets reduced to burglary and misdemeanors? Yeah, I don't know. I have to look up that trial. Holy shit.
Well, you do say at 7:25 p.m. that you're almost asleep. We'll see about this car transfer thing, right?
Right.
And then you put the Z's on there that indicates you're going to sleep, right?
I was very tired, yes.
And so you went to sleep. You say you went to sleep, right?
I was laying there very tired, and I think I fell asleep.
Well, then you say at 7:29, 4 minutes later, I fell asleep and a phone call woke me up. That's when I sent you a text. That's what you say, right?
Yeah.
Well, when is it that you're sleeping? What's waking you up between those 4 minutes? What's going
I
on?
don't think I'm sleeping right then.
Listen, if I lied this much, I would be confused as fuck too, okay?
But he's at family home evening already, and he doesn't care because he's already at family home evening, isn't he?
He was a little upset because he got a ride because he thought I was going to go get it.
But it didn't happen, did it?
No.
And the big point going on here is not talking about anything that may have happened. You're not saying you're upset about anything. You're just talking about this car being exchanged, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, sorry, Jodi. I don't buy that story.
Talking specifically about the car exchange in the text message.
And you don't say, I'm upset, we need to talk, or anything like that, do you?
No.
You say you have a really bad headache, that you can barely move.
I don't understand. How do people believe her? How do people believe her?
Right?
Yes.
And what's crazy to me is there are people that still believe her, even though after her conviction, and she was like, yeah, I did it, you know, I'm sorry, and stuff like that. They still believe that she's innocent, and I'm so confused. Hello?
Yes.
Play?
And then there's a gap of approximately 2 hours or an hour.
What am I missing? What are we missing?
Which could be with an activity with family home evening, right?
Yes.
And he says, all right, I'll get it tomorrow then, right?
All right, let me forward this a little bit.
Right? It says?
When that text was sent, yes.
This is pretty much established that
until you
she's
relented.
lying right there.
And then you went over, right?
He did want to talk to me, yes.
Right. But it looks here that, like, you want to talk to him, doesn't it?
I do now, yes.
And then you're still...
Yeah, when she was convicted and, you know, they were thinking about giving her the death penalty, she was just like, you know, she apologized. And yeah.
Not together at 11:33.
I'll see if I can try to find the clip later.
How long, right?
That's right.
How long is he going to be out, is what you're asking him, aren't you?
What? I think people believe she's innocent in her reason for killing Travis. Like, they actually believe that it's self-defense. Like, he treated her that badly. Okay, but look who's alive and look who's dead.
No, how long till he is ready to talk?
Well, that's part of, given what we've seen.
I don't know. And then if there's more evidence of, like, maybe, like, her being injured, bruised up and stuff like that, do we even have that or no?
About this relationship.
I don't think so, right? Because I think it would be on the internet. I looked through the internet to find all these pictures and stuff like that. I don't think there's any pictures of her, like, bruised up or anything, or anyone to even corroborate her story that she was the one that was, like, ABUS.
Because you want to know what's going on with him that night?
Sustained.
Oh, man. The eye roll.
How long? That's you saying, how long before we can talk?
Yeah, it's just really sad that, like, obviously because he's not alive right now, he's not here to defend himself.
Right? Isn't that what it means?
Yes.
And then he says to you, and the times aren't there, but 11:30 he was doing.
That's right.
And so it doesn't seem like he's in a hurry to talk to you, does it?
I don't know.
It doesn't seem like he's all this, you know, like this upset that you portrayed him, that he really wanted to talk to you about this issue that you say that you saw him engaged in, right?
Objection causes speculation.
All right, so the same issue.
And
Let's see.
text message does say, did you make the deposit? Any idea how much money?
Yes.
Where's your car?
Probably parked at his house.
How'd you get to work?
He sometimes he drove me and sometimes I carpooled with a coworker.
So what happened on this particular day?
I don't remember.
What time did you get to work?
I don't remember. I usually worked in the morning, but sometimes I worked evenings also.
So in this day, you're going to get off at 4 o'clock, right?
Well, in theory, if business permits.
But that's what it's...
Mm-hmm. And not only that, she brought a gun, okay? A gun that she reported stolen from her grandparents' house. Like, she knew what she was doing.
It says there, right?
Yes.
And
it wasn't just like a spur of the moment, like, oh, I had to protect myself from his rage. Like, she knew what she was doing. And she drove from California to Arizona. So I don't know. I don't know. I guess there's always going to be people out there that's going to believe you, right?
This is at 3:36. You wanted to pick you up, right?
Yes.
How long was your shift usually? 4,
People
6,
are going
8
to
hours?
believe what they want to believe.
Depending on the flow of business, typically it was 4 to 6 hours.
All right. And then at 4:04, you send him another text message and you say, scratch that. They're keeping me here till 5 p.m. Can you pick me up then? The lunch offer from my voicemail still stands. What are you talking about?
She does. I know.
Pardon?
Like for him to pick me up after work?
Yes.
No, I'm asking about the lunch offer. I'm not asking about him picking you up.
I felt really bad for him and everything that happened. So I was just trying to make him feel better because if I were in his shoes, I'd want to jump off a bridge at this point.
So what about the lunch offer? What are you talking about?
That's what it was. I offered to get him lunch.
So you're saying that you found him doing some unsavory things with some type of pornography that we're not going to say right now, and that you felt bad for him that he was going through stuff, so you decided to buy lunch for him. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's 4 o'clock in the
Or are we on a different issue right now?
afternoon, though. Lunch
Also, ew, that person's drinking Pepsi in the background. Ew, gross, nasty. Coke is the best.
usually is noon, right?
Well, no wonder you lost the case. Freaking fucking Pepsi.
And then he says, sure, I'm almost off. Yay. Are you eating? If so, just sit in the counter, right?
Right.
Throughout this whole text message between you and him, there's no discussion about anything that may have happened on the 21st, is there?
Not in text messages, definitely not.
The answer is no, right?
No.
And in terms of the phone calls that you claim that were being made, there wasn't this barrage
Not in text messages, definitely
of phone calls
not.
from him that you didn't respond to. Actually, it was more give and take, wasn't it?
He left a barrage of phone calls at one period of time, yes.
Pardon?
He did. He left a barrage of phone calls.
Well, then let's just take a look at his phone record.
Oh, no. Do we have the phone records?
I'll see you back here at 3:25. Please remember the admonition. You are excused.
All right, break time.
2 or 3 that we've looked at. Nowhere in your journal do you ever mention anything about Mr. Alexander in this incident that you claim involving masturbatory conduct, correct?
That's correct.
Take a look at Exhibit 463. This is
Okay.
I understand that those are not your own records, right?
That's right.
All right, so we have more
And,
journal
they're
entries
there.
that's just going to
Ones
fuck
that
her
you-
over
they're out of
somehow.
order because they're different switches that carried the calls, right?
I don't know.
You can find that on there, correct?
Yes.
Previous to 3:53 p.m. that you can see, right?
From me to him, I don't see any others before 3:53.
Right. And the last call that was made by Mr. Alexander on that telephone, and we talked about these calls, was at 7:11 p.m., right? There are no calls from his phone after that.
Damn, man, he got some
See the one
phone
at
records
7-Eleven?
too. Yeah, with modern technology, it's just really hard to lie.
The last call period that he made, not just to you, but to anybody. Maybe
Oh,
that was
on the
confusing.
21st?
Did anyone here watch the Scott Peterson trial? I actually want to go over that sometime too.
Right, to anybody. Your allegation that, if I may have it back.
Was.
Well, then let me show you a
Partly.
document to make sure that we're clear. And if I could have it searched.
Hold on, let me just get to the meat of the next part. Let's see.
Page 3, correct?
Yes.
And during that, the purpose of that hearing involved at least an aspect of the allegation that Mr. Alexander had engaged in pedophilic conduct, right?
Overruled. You may answer.
Right?
An aspect, yes.
Oh yeah, do we hear back yet of whether or not he's going to get a retrial? Oh God, I would feel so bad for her family to have to go through that again.
And 4 days, on August 4th.
Did they ever make a decision?
Before that, you tried to get somebody to lie at that hearing, didn't you?
No.
All right, let me show you some documents. Let me see if you recognize it. Edition of exhibit number 4.
Yeah, I just want him to. Oh yeah, these are magazines. Oh, this part was really weird. She's like using a magazine to communicate with somebody. I forgot whether it was like a correctional officer or a journalist or something. But this part was kind of weird. I was like, what the fuck?
I think I did.
Pardon?
I think I did, yes.
I don't think the edition of exhibit number.
Okay, let me wait for him to admit the evidence.
Roughly around 1:30 in the afternoon, right?
Yeah, it was in the afternoon.
And that conversation between you and Ann Campbell lasted approximately an hour, correct?
It lasted a long time, from what I remember.
And as part of the process, while you were there, one of the things that, or as part of the visitation, one of the things that you wanted to do was to give 2 magazines to Ms. Campbell, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, they didn't decide.
And the way it works is that before you give that magazine, it has to go through a guard so that they can give it out to the person, right?
It has to go through a sergeant.
Right. And in this case, that's what happened with this magazine, correct?
Yeah, it goes through, I'm sorry, it goes through an officer, then a sergeant, then another officer.
But you, and bottom line though, is you wanted to give this magazine to Ann Campbell, right?
That one and another one.
Right, the Star magazine, correct?
Yes, it was Star.
Well, let's look at the other magazine.
Okay, so let's wait until he brings it into evidence.
Well, here is the pencil. Can you see it?
Yes.
And can you tell us, if you can, what that says?
Mark Stanek, 520-256-1178, ABC in parentheses.
And you know who Mark Stanek is, right?
Yes.
Mark Stanek is a producer for, or at that time was a producer for ABC News, right?
Yes. Well, I don't know if he was a producer at that time.
But he had visited you on occasion, right?
Yes, about 4 years ago.
Right about the same time that this was going on. Well, let me just
Yeah,
show
why
you
was she secretly trying to communicate with them?
467, does that refresh your recollection as to when this individual from ABC was visiting you?
Free Jodi. I don't know if we need Jodi. You don't even spell her name right.
Yes.
You just want her to be free just because she's
what
hot?
dates did he visit you?
July 8th, 2009 and September 17th, 2009.
Okay. And that's the same individual that's mentioned there, right?
Yes.
Pushed you into that interview, right?
Inside Edition, yes.
And who was that guy? What's that guy's name?
I don't remember her name. It was 5 years ago almost. She didn't push me. She just encouraged me.
Well, who was it? What's the name of this person that encouraged you?
I don't remember her name. They don't name tags very often.
But with regard to the visit involving Mark Stanek with ABC News, she had nothing to do with that, right?
No, nothing to do with that one.
And you took his visit, right?
Yes, I did.
You can refuse a visit from anybody you want, correct?
Yes.
And you did not refuse his visit, right?
That's right.
Now, let's take a look at another page, page 20. And there are some words there on page 20. And they're kind of hard to find, but they're in pencil, right? The writings?
I haven't seen them.
What is that?
Those are in pencil, right?
You testify,
It looks
so.
like it, yes.
Pardon?
It looks like it, yes.
Well, no, take a look at it. We want to make sure. That's right. Page number 20.
You testify, so.
Okay. Page 37. And you would agree that the one on page 20 is kind of hard to find. It's kind of right here near the spine of the book, right?
It seems like it, yeah.
Page 37 has some more writing on it. See that? Right.
Does it say?
Looks like it said, oh, you want me to read it? I'm sorry.
Yes, please.
It looks like it says, we can fix this.
We can fix this, right?
Right.
Is that Jodi's handwriting?
Page 40 has some more writing on it, and the lighting's not so good, but it says, what does it say?
Looks like it says, directly contradicts what I've been saying for over a year.
Okay.
Jodi Arias sent coded messages to a potential witness. Is that what it is? The two magazines, an issue of Star, ironically with a cover story about Casey Anthony, to whom Arias has been compared, and an issue of Digital Photo Pro, was intercepted by guards. Arias had intended for those two items to be handed over to Ann Campbell, a friend who had been a constant supporter and has visited Arias in jail every week. Okay.
And the publishing date on this item is August 2011, correct?
Wait, hold on. What is this fucking ad? what does this mean? Photos proving you can't fix stupid. It's a picture of a girl in a bikini mowing a lawn. What the fuck is? What does this ad mean? What the fuck? Okay. Back to the text.
Page 43.
Hi, Hunter. Oh, you're 4 hours behind.
It says, you fucked up what you told my attorney the next day.
Okay.
Oh no. Yeah, this is Jodi.
Says.
Interview was excellent. Must talk ASAP.
And 56.
Oh, I guess like when she gets visits, it's recorded or some shit, right?
Get down here ASAP and see me before you talk to them again and before.
Doesn't seem to make much sense, but let me mark an exhibit for you. Take a look at the,
Yeah, I feel like the stenographer is so into this trial. He's like,
and what was written on them, doesn't it? And if you need the book, let me know. And, which is exhibit 466.
oh, here it is. Oh shit! No, go back. Let's see. Mark Stanoff, ABC. You testify so. We can fix this. Directly contradicts what I've been saying for over a year. You fucked up. What you told my attorney next day. Interview was excellent. Must talk ASAP. Get down here ASAP and see me before you talk to them again and before.
Let's take a look at the Star magazine, which is exhibit 6, 2012.
I see July 25th, 2011 up in the corner and February 6th, 2012 there.
Correct.
Not offhand, no. My understanding is that they're page numbers.
My understanding is that they're page numbers. Bitch, didn't you write that?
That may be your understanding, but what are the numbers?
Oh, I'm sorry. 43, 40, 56, 20, 37, 54.
Okay.
In jail. It was when she was in interrogation and she did the handstand and stuff. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, so at first when I first saw that, I was like, oh, maybe people were being too harsh and she was just really fucking bored or like she was being interrogated for a long time. Bro, she was only in that interrogation for like, I think 2 hours. I think she was like in her head trying to like, maybe I should play like the batshit crazy card. Should I do that? Maybe that should be my angle. So yeah, we saw that with, who else did that? Who tried to pretend like they were crazy while they were in the interrogation?
A range with an exhibit 468.
Wait, what? Oh, she was in a singing competition in jail? Oh, yeah. Was she singing, Holy Night or some shit? That's like her favorite song to sing.
According to those numbers, man.
Holy Night. Or is it Silent Night? Silent Night? Fuck, I don't know. It's something like that.
469 have those statements in the order.
Wait, do you think Jodi can sing? Be honest. 1 in chat if you think she can sing. 2 in chat if you're like, eh. Let me see if I can find it, actually. Was it American's, what's it called again? The singing competition? Jodi Arias.
Long lay the word.
In December 2010, accused killer Jodi Arias beat out some 50 other inmates in a singing caroling competition. American Idol behind bars. Top prize, a Christmas stocking brimming with goodies, as well as a turkey dinner for herself and her cellmates. Watch the blonde beauty turn into a songbird.
World in sin and error pining till he appeared and the soul were a thrill.
I mean, she sings okay.
Move for the admission of exhibit number 469.
Sorry, what was it? What was 1 and 2 again? I don't remember. 1 was yes and 2 was no. I don't remember. Sings like a banshee. Nope, not falling for it. Oh.
Them again and before you testify so we can fix this.
Oh, we already read this,
Interview
right?
was excellent, must talk ASAP.
Okay, we read this already.
Have your name on them, correct?
Yes, I'm only allowed to release my own property.
Ma'am, I understand that, but those magazines have your name on them, right?
Yes.
And those magazines were in your possession on August 4th of 2011, right?
Yes.
And those magazines you had with you when you went to meet with Ann Campbell, right?
I brought them almost to the visit, but they don't go with me to see her.
Excuse me?
They don't go with me to see her. They get passed off to several different
I
officers.
understand, but you brought them from yourself, correct?
Yes.
And you, at that point, at some point during the visit, requested that these magazines be given to Ann Campbell,
Welcome
right?
back.
Yes.
These 2 magazines that we're talking about here, correct?
Correct.
And that was actually done. And you're trying to tell us about the process. Why don't you tell us what the process is?
The process is when you want to...
We need to have Dr. Curry go into the prison and do a psychiatric evaluation.
To release property, you have to
we'll have
fill
her
out,
and we'll
request.
have Dr.
You have to state
Dalhines.
your request fairly specifically, what you're releasing, the title of what you're releasing. At least those are the rules now. They've updated it. It was more generic then. And then it is given to an officer who inspects it and then gives it, when it passes inspection, it's given to a sergeant who approves it, and then it's passed off to either, I think in...
Would I recommend Cabo? It was beautiful. I would say it's a little bit too expensive though. Maybe like, because I've never been to Cancun before. Maybe check out Cancun. Although Cancun might be a little too crazy for me. I don't know. But Cabo is pretty pricey. I felt like I was in LA. Like a very beautiful beach version of LA, you know.
It's called...
the beaches were beautiful, but like everything else was like, you know, like not my vibe really. But yeah, I would go back for the beaches. I would go back. Food was pretty decent. People were really nice. But yeah, it was just really fucking expensive.
Given to that officer, and then it's given to the visitation officer. So when the visitor leaves...
Seafood
they
was
pick up
cheap
the
though.
property and go.
I like seafood.
And that's how this, and you attempted to use that process to get these magazines to Ann Campbell, right?
Yes.
And shortly before August 4th, do you know somebody by the name of Matthew McCartney?
Yes, I do.
Shortly before this August 4th date,
Who's Matthew McCartney?
and by shortly I mean with one, you know that Mr. McCartney was interviewed by the prosecutor, right?
I think it was around that time.
You were in contact with Mr. McCartney about the interview, right? In other words, you let him know that this interview with the prosecutor was going to take place, right?
I think my attorney let him know.
Well, isn't it true that in the telephone that you spoke with Mr. McCartney on the telephone about the requested interview by the prosecutor, Juan Martinez?
I believe that is true.
Wait, Matthew McCartney is one of her exes? Wait, what? What is a forged PDF file letters for? What? What does that even mean? Okay, I don't know if I want to go down this fucking word. I don't know.
And that interview took place within approximately a month of this August 11th date of the hearing, right?
I wasn't told when it was taking place, but it was close to that time.
And Mr. McCartney is the individual that you testified about previously with whom you had this relationship with, right?
Yes.
And he's somebody that you dated, what?
So he didn't testify for her, okay.
In 2001?
2000 and 2001.
And he's the individual that you said that, well, we kind of broke up because, well, why don't you tell us why you broke up with him? Why you think you broke up with him?
I heard Tulum's beautiful.
Because he cheated on me.
And you're saying that he cheated on you with somebody named Brianna, right?
Bianca.
Bianca?
Hey, Paymont. No, this is old, actually. This is from a couple years ago. Almost like 9 years ago, I think, right?
And what happened with regard to that incident is that he cheated on you, you heard about it, and you heard about it while you were at work, right?
Yes.
Was this at the Purple Plum?
This was at Applebee's.
Applebee's, and you decided to drive about an hour and a half to confront Bianca, right?
Yes.
Because you needed to find out, right?
I needed to know, yes.
You needed to know. Isn't that sort of the same thing that you did with Mr. Alexander in August of 2007 when you saw him kissing with somebody that you went and you asked him about what was going on the night before because you needed to know, right?
Yes.
And so you went up to, was it Crater Lake?
Yes.
And you went up to Crater Lake, and this is the place where they have people living in not subsidized housing, but housing that is provided by the employer, right?
Yes, they're like dorms.
And you were able to find where this Bianca was, right?
Yes.
How was it that you were able to find this Bianca if you had never had contact with her?
I asked a mutual friend, and he told me what room she was in.
Oh my God, she tracked down this Bianca person.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So I just went and knocked on that door.
Which mutual friend did you ask?
I believe his name was Steve.
And is this the individual that you said that acted really gay, right?
Wait, sorry, this is when they were dating, or this was when they already broken up?
He was gay, and he was acting very frantic.
Right. And you indicated that when you came over there, he started to act really frantic, right?
Yes.
And he
Hi,
started to act
advocate.
really frantic just at the sight of you, right?
I think because I was asking about Bianca, and he knew about the affair.
Well, he saw you, and you started to talk to him, right?
Yes.
When you started to talk to him, did you immediately indicate to him that you wanted to talk about Bianca?
Did Bianca
about it,
testify?
too.
So you indicated you wanted to talk to Bianca, right?
Yes.
And immediately, or shortly thereafter, he started to get all flustered, right? Would that be correct or not?
Not when I saw him, but when I went to her room to knock.
So you start talking to him about Bianca, and he tells you what place, the room she's staying in, right?
Yes.
And he goes with you, right?
No, he told me the wrong room.
He gave, initially, when you went to see him, he gave you the wrong room, right?
Yes.
And you went to that wrong room.
Yes.
And when you went to that wrong room, did you speak to the people there?
I knocked, nobody answered.
In the meantime, Steve had gone somewhere else, right?
Yes.
He had gone to where Bianca was, right?
Yes.
But you didn't tell Steve why you were there, right?
Just that I wanted to talk to Bianca.
Right, but you didn't tell him why you wanted to talk to her, right?
No, not why.
And it was kind of an unannounced visit, right?
Yes.
And so he took it upon himself, without any prompting from you, to give you the wrong place and then go and talk to Bianca, right?
Yes. Oh.
And then you went, and how was it that you were able to find Bianca's room?
I thought maybe I misheard him and transposed the numbers, so I reversed the two last numbers. It's a three-digit dorm, and I had the right floor, but I just went to the opposite number.
So do you remember the number?
No.
So you went there, and when you got to the door, you heard that there was talking inside, right?
Yes.
And there was talking inside. Would it be characterized as excited inside?
Steve's voice, yes.
Right, and this is the one that you said he was sort of acting gay, over dramatic, right?
Have you guys ever confronted someone before? Like, if you suspected your significant other for cheating, have you ever went to like that other person and try to confront them? I did that once. Don't ever do that. It's gonna drive you nuts. Yeah, I don't know. If you think someone's cheating, fuck it, end the relationship. It's not worth it. that shit will mess you up really bad.
Right?
Yes, dramatic.
And you attributed that to the fact that he was gay, though, right?
It was.
Hey, Mom says she's so pretty. It's a shame. I sometimes wish she could be released. Why? There are so many other better looking people out there. Do you know how many people are out here that are not crazy?
The feminine tone, so yes.
Well, no.
Are you just trying to trigger us? Is that what you're trying to do?
No, I mean, part of what you
Oh, good night. Thanks for hanging out with us, Dasha. See you later.
told us before was that, well, he's kind of gay and he's kind of
He
that
is
way,
gay.
and so that he was being dramatic, right?
He is gay and he was acting dramatic.
And that's what you told us, right?
Yes.
It could have also been that it wasn't because he was gay, it was because he was concerned that you were there, that he was excited, right?
Well, I never said that he was.
Overruled. You may answer.
I never said he was acting that way because he's gay. I just said the tone of voice. I remember it because it was very feminine and very frantic, almost like a woman.
But you're the one that brought up the fact that he was gay, right?
Yes.
And explaining this to us, right?
Yeah, when I was describing it.
Right. And so you were able to hear his voice through the door, right?
Yes.
And it was an excited tone.
Yes.
And that excited tone could be for a myriad of reasons, but one of them was that you were there unannounced, right?
That's right.
Why is this such a theme with Jodi? You were there unannounced. You peeped in. You showed up. No one called you. This is like the third or fourth time already, right? Man, she just loves showing up unannounced.
And it could be that
Catch him by
he was,
surprise.
for whatever reason, excited, or that term, he was excited that you were there, right?
Yeah, it calls for speculation.
My wife asked me if she could find a girlfriend beforehand, so much better. Oh, the girlfriend moved in and now the three of us are living together happily ever after. Oh, for how long? I actually have a friend, like really close friends that are I don't know what you call it, like not a threesome, but yeah. Similar situation. My friends that are married, they have like a girlfriend. So, hey, whatever makes you happy.
We don't know why he's excited.
Rephrase the question.
He had his demeanor when you arrived changed after you asked for Bianca, right?
I didn't notice it change. I just noticed it different after I went to knock on her door.
And his demeanor changed to the fact that he was more excited, for lack of a better term.
Yes.
Right?
Frantic.
And you began to knock on the door, right?
Yes.
Nobody answered, right?
No, they answered.
Initially, right?
Bianca answered. Oh,
Well,
the first
not
time.
initially.
Do you mean the first
second door? Didn't you say before that you went to that door, you knocked on that door, and nobody answered initially? You heard them talking.
For a second before she came to the door, yeah.
So
I kind of feel sympathetic towards her. I think if she had thought it through a little bit more, she may have done this murder. But here's the thing, she did. She did the damn murder. Someone's dead because of this. And not only that, his pictures are all over the internet. His family's dragged into it. Other people were dragged into it. You know, she did it. If she didn't murder him, then yeah, maybe I would have some sympathy towards her because, you know, I might be like, oh, she's just really fucking socially awkward. You know, she has issues moving on and she just needs to find someone else and not be so obsessed and cling on to this one exact person. But no, she fucking murdered someone. So hard to feel sympathy towards her, you know?
So you were there long enough to hear them excitedly talking, right?
Yeah, like rather than live in a world of what ifs, you know, it's better just focus on like what actually did happen. So instead of be like, well, what if she didn't do it? Well, you know, she did. That's the reality that we live in, right?
Not her, just him.
And how long were you standing there before the door was open?
I'd say 5 seconds or less.
She opened the door, right?
Yes.
And did you recognize her? Well, you did recognize her from her photograph, right?
It looked to be the same person.
Right. And you began to talk to her, right?
Yeah, I asked if she was Bianca.
Right. You began to talk to her, right?
Yes.
And you started to talk to her, and you brought up the subject of Matt McCartney, right?
Yes.
She didn't bring it up, right?
Well, actually, hold on. I actually ended up drinking that champagne. That champagne was really good. I don't like champagne. I don't really like, I try not to drink alcohol, but that champagne was actually pretty good. Maybe because I just have an addiction to bubbly things now. Like, I've been addicted to Coke. I've been addicted to, like, Sprite. Anything that's bubbly, I will fucking drink it. But, yeah, I still drank it afterwards. It was actually pretty good. But usually when I think of champagne, I think of, you know, when you're, like, in your 20s and you're trying to go clubbing, get a table with all your friends, scrap up all your fucking money, spend an extravagant amount, getting a stupid table, getting bottle service and all that. But, like, they would always give you that cheap-ass champagne bottle that comes free for the birthday. And it's always, like, a piece of shit, nasty, like, oh, so gross. So whenever I think of champagne, I think of that, and that's why I usually can't drink champagne. But that one was actually pretty good.
That's right.
And you started to talk to her, and you started to ask her whether or not they had a relationship, right?
Yes.
Also, thanks for watching the vlogs.
And you were able to determine that they did, in fact, have a relationship, right?
Yes.
And you were able to determine that they, in fact, had been intimate, right?
She indicated they had not had sex, but intimate somewhat, yes.
And, ma'am, at that time, when this was going on, you weren't living with Mr. McCartney, right?
No, I was in Ashland.
Pardon?
I was in Ashland.
And he was where?
He lived at, well, he had moved away from Crater Lake. He had
where's
lived at Crater
Ashland?
Lake that summer, and now he moved back to Phoenix with his dad at that point.
And your belief was that you and he were still boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, right?
That was my belief.
Actually, he may have had a different belief as you came to the lake.
Wait, what happened?
Boyfriend and girlfriend.
Phoenix with his dad at that point.
And your belief was that you and he were still boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, right?
Oh, was this when they were dating?
That was my belief.
Let's say we take her word for it. Is this when they were dating?
Actually, he may have had a different belief as you came to know later, right?
Yes.
He did not believe that you and he had a relationship. Well, had a relationship, but were not boyfriend and girlfriend at the time, right?
I don't know if that was his belief.
Well, you've spoken to him about it, right?
Yes.
And based on your conversation, do you have a belief, don't you have a belief that at that time, he didn't think that you and he were boyfriend and girlfriend?
Based on that conversation, my belief was that he knew he had messed up, and he was very sorry for it.
But how long did this conversation take with Bianca?
And does Bianca testify?
We actually sat and chit-chatted for about an hour.
And this was at your request, right? And for an hour, you received information about what her relationship was with Mr. McCartney, right?
He wasn't the whole conversation, but initially, yes.
I don't think she
You weren't there to
does.
visit with her because you'd driven an hour and a half, right?
Can you say that again?
Well, you weren't there just to chit-chat with her, right?
That wasn't the point of the drive, no.
I mean, you wanted to find out what the heck was going on with Mr. McCartney, right?
Absolutely.
And so it's fair to say that this wasn't a situation where you were just sitting there chit-chatting about her job or anything like that. It was because you were interested in finding out what was going on, right?
Yes.
And you were satisfied after speaking to her for about an hour what was going on.
I was satisfied pretty early on, not just the hour.
And in fact, isn't it true that you became a bit excited or upset during that conversation?
No.
At any time did you...
Yeah. She couldn't account for it was like, I think it was like 18 hours that was missing.
raise your voice to Bianca?
Definitely not. I was in her home.
And in this place, Crater Lake, was what, an hour and a half from where you were living in Ashland, right?
About 70 miles.
But it's an hour and a half driving, right?
I think so, yes. About an hour and a half.
And then after that, where did you go?
After that, it was very late. I didn't want to drive the hour and a half back because I'd fall asleep. So I went and stayed at in a mutual friend's dorm. There were two.
And what's that friend's name?
Eddie.
Eddie what?
Eddie Lee.
And how did you know Eddie Lee?
I knew him because his parents also owned a restaurant in Wairika, as did my parents at that time. And
how old were you when this was happening?
How old was I?
Yes.
I believe I just turned 21.
And your parents still own a restaurant, right?
No, not at that time.
They had owned one up to, how old were you when they
I think
stopped?
I was 16 when they closed it the first time, 16 or 17.
Right about the time you moved out of their home?
It was...
Oh no, how did you find out that you were the other guy?
I moved out after they closed it.
And growing up, they had more than one restaurant though, right?
Yes.
And how many restaurants did your family have?
Total that I know of. 6 or 7.
And growing up, there really wasn't any financial problems, was there?
Early on, there was not.
And early on, there were trips to Disneyland, for example, right?
Yes, when I was very young.
And when you say very young, we're talking up to 6, 7, or 8, right?
Under 10.
And during that time, it was...
Which is under...
what has been
6, 7 is under
described
10.
what you've described as an idyllic sort of environment, right?
Yes, somewhat.
And then, at some point, the restaurant issue started... There became an issue with the restaurant, right?
Yes, I believe it. My understanding is it was an issue.
And Mr. McCartney, where was he living at the time that you went to see Bianca?
He was living in Phoenix, Oregon with his dad.
And he had a room there, correct?
I believe he had his own room there, yes.
And sometimes when Mr. McCartney, what town did he live in again?
Phoenix, Oregon.
And after this conversation, you and he broke up, right?
Yes, after he got back from Borrego Springs.
Pardon?
After he returned from Borrego Springs, that's where he was that night.
Okay, he came up.
Wait, when she was
What
broken up with
town
the
did you
McCartney
meet in
guy?
Phoenix, is that where you met?
Yes.
And that's when you decided that was the end of it, right? You decided that, right?
I don't remember. It was just a lot of tears, and it was obvious that the trust was gone and there was not any kind of relationship anymore.
And basically, that's the same reason why you and Mr. Alexander broke up, because according to you, the trust was gone, right?
That's right.
And so after the trust is gone with Mr. McCartney, though, you still continue sort of seeing him, don't you?
There were some blurred boundaries, but we were not boyfriend-girlfriend.
And in fact, you even stayed together at Crater Lake or Ventana Inn together after this, right? After you broke up, right?
We crashed in a tent for 2 weeks, but we were not together at Ventana.
But you did have intercourse with him after this breakup, didn't you? Do you remember telling us that on direct
Yes,
examination?
one time.
One time, but you did, though, right?
Yes.
And did he continue to live at his parents' house?
He moved down to Ventana to find work also. He was looking for seasonal work.
Right, and at Ventana, this is where they have the places to stay as part of the job, right?
Yes, more employee housing.
And where were you when he was at Ventana?
I was hired at Ventana first, and then he applied for a job right after me, and he was hired also.
And you and he were not sharing, were you sharing the same bed or not?
After I got housing, no, we were not.
Right. Isn't it true that after you got housing, though, you would, when he wasn't around, go over to wherever he was staying and stay in his bed?
He didn't have a bed, he lived in a tent.
And where is he
no,
trying to
that's
get
not
at?
true.
So, how long did you continue to see him?
Well, we were no longer romantic. We just hung out more like friends.
But you continue to be friends up to this day, though, haven't you?
We've sort of lost contact, but yeah, we're still friends.
She comes off as innocent, pure, soft-spoken. I think pretty women are my biggest weakness. I probably would be the next victim. Well, as long as you acknowledge that, now you can take that information and change. There you go. Now you won't be the victim.
And, well, you at least had contact with him involving the interview with the prosecutor, though, right?
I believe I did, but I know my attorneys did for sure.
I'm not interested in what your attorneys did. I'm interested in what you did. Is it true that you had contact with him, right?
Yes.
And when you made your trip down from Wairika to kill Mr. Alexander, you stopped in the Monterey area, didn't you?
I can't answer your question the way it's phrased.
Why not?
You didn't stop in the Monterey, didn't drive through the Monterey area?
I did stop in the Monterey area.
And one of the people that you saw in the area was Matthew McCartney, right?
Yes.
And did he live in Seaside then?
I believe he lived in Pacific Grove.
And that's the same.
Or Monterey. I mean, the border is they were right next to each other.
I know, Ridge. I think they're just doing it on purpose, just trying to trigger people. But I don't know. We don't really care. We're not really bothered.
And so you actually stopped to see him back on June 3rd of 2008, right?
Yes.
And in fact, you spent the night with him June 2nd to the morning of June 3rd, right?
Yes, I crashed on the floor.
But you spent the night with him, right?
Not with him, no.
Okay, you spent the night at his apartment, right?
Him and his roommate, yes.
So this is after Travis
Okay,
was
he and his roommate had an
murdered.
apartment. You spent the night there, correct?
It was like a house. I stayed the night there in the room that they shared.
In the house, they had a room together, both of them, right?
Yes.
And you
Also, what's with
stayed
her
in the
baby
same room with
bangs?
these
I don't know.
two
That's like triggering the
individuals,
fuck out of me.
right? All right. And the three of you were in the room, though, is the point then, right?
Yes. When we slept, yes.
Like, you either got bangs or you don't. What is this? What is this?
And you guys went to sleep around midnight, and you got up at what time the next morning, which would have made it the 3rd. What time did you get up?
I don't know what time we went to sleep, and I woke up sometime in the morning.
And did he go with you to see Mr. Brewer or not?
No.
And so you, after seeing him, though, there, you parted ways, and you left, right? And went to Salinas, right?
Yes, I did. Yes. I went to Salinas.
Pardon?
I went to Salinas.
And how far is Salinas from Pacific Grove, Seaside, Monterey, whatever the area is? How far is it?
My recollection is that it's between 20 and 30 minutes.
I don't know if you had a chance, Paymon, but maybe Google the photos. See what she did to him. It's not just like spur of the moment, I shot him. It was a lot. It's on the internet. You can look it up if you want.
Depending on the traffic.
I don't think you can
And you were
turn on
you were sort of detouring to Salinas for some cosmetic work, right?
Well, I had to go to Salinas anyway to get on the road because I have to take Highway 1 south. I mean 101, excuse me, south.
But you did go, when you went to Salinas, you did get some cosmetic work, right?
Yes, my nails.
Right, and you said it took a long time, right?
Yes.
And what kind of place was that in Salinas?
It was at a strip mall, somewhat.
What was the name of it? How about that?
Oh, I don't know. It was one of those little operations where people are just coming and going. There's a long wait.
And they only do nails, according to you, there?
It looked like they did pedicures also. I don't remember if there was hair or not, but just definitely nails and feet.
But it could have been a place, a salon, where they also did hair, right?
It might have been.
And do you remember the name of this place at all?
No.
Oh, really? What time did you get to Salinas?
I don't remember.
And how long were you in Salinas?
A few hours. I don't remember.
I guess it is
I know that I wanted
turquoise.
to get on the road.
So what time did you get on the road?
It was still light out, but I don't remember the time.
This was after you had been over to Mr. Brewer's house, right?
Yes.
You were there for a time, and then you left Mr. Brewer's house, right?
Yes.
And then you went back to return something, right?
Bye, Jill.
If I remember from his recollection, I can't remember it.
Well, I'm not asking for his, I'm asking for your recollection. Do you remember
Cheers.
coming back and giving him something?
I remember. I don't actually remember it.
Then I don't want you to tell me if you don't remember anything.
Yeah.
Judge?
Yes, all right, ladies and gentlemen, Monday, 10:30. Please remember the admonition. Have a nice weekend. You are excused.
I don't know. Maybe I'm just not there yet, but I just don't see how Travis Alexander abused her. I guess we'll get there at some point, or I'll just do some more reading or something. But it just seems like this guy cheated on her. Let's say we take her word for it. He cheats on her, they break up, and then they continue this sexual relationship while he's dating other people. But she tries to play as a cool chick, like, oh yeah, I'm totally cool with you, like dating other people while I'm fucking you on the side, right? I don't know. It just seems like at some point he was trying to get rid of her, and then she just keeps following him. She literally moves across state lines to be with him and to try to invade herself into his life. Like, how the fuck do you deal with someone like that, right? But I don't know. Maybe I'm just not there yet. We'll see.
All right.
Man, that was day 1 of cross-examination. Day fucking 1. That was brutal. That was fucking brutal. And you know, I think it would have been different if she didn't lie so much. If she just didn't fucking lie so much, you know? If she tried to just be as honest as she could, you know, maybe people will be more sympathetic towards her, but she just lied so much. You know, it's manipulation. Y'all might be manipulated by her.
Please be seated. The record will show the jury has left the courtroom. Ms. Arias, you may step down. Counsel, anything else for today? All right. Thank you.
Okay, that was a day 1. How's everyone feeling? Oh man, I think how many Jodi Arias cross-examinations are there? How many days Jodi Arias cross-examination? It's a lot. But I have to edit through some of them because we can't be showing no gory pictures and stuff like that. At least I don't think you can. On Twitch, I know you can, but on YouTube I don't know. I think it gets. I don't know if you can or not. Probably not. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed today. Next week, we'll maybe we'll go over the Kobe Bryant stuff with Vanessa Bryant as well. Maybe we'll go over that. But yeah, it's gonna take me a while to edit some of these because this was like a 9-hour footage, I think, that I was able to condense it down to 3 hours. It's a lot, okay? It's a lot of shit. But yeah, thanks for hanging out. If you guys are new here, feel free to join the Discord. The link is down below. We have some new videos are out. Check it out. And yeah, thanks for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed your time here. I'll see you guys later. I normally stream on Twitch, so feel free to stop by on there. Thanks for the live. Yeah, and also, you know, if you guys have Amazon Prime, you guys can subscribe to me for free on Twitch, and then that way when you watch me, you won't get any ads. Oh. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. I hope you guys had a good one. I will see y'all later. Yeah, did she ever cry on Stan? I'll have to look that up. I don't know if she ever cries on Stan. She seems pretty cold to me. Pretty fucking cold. Wait, why Meghan Markle? Why do you guys not like Meghan Markle? I haven't caught up with the Meghan Markle stuff. Ezra Miller. I heard he apologized, but I don't know. Wait, why Meghan Markle? Hold on a second. What happened with Meghan Markle? Wasn't she bullied by the royal family or some shit? Is that like a... What? She's an Amber? Wait, what happened? Did I miss something? Dr. Todd Legrand did like a video about Meghan Markle. Dr. Todd Legrand made a video about Meghan Markle. I can't say her fucking name. I don't know. My brain shuts down sometimes, okay? My language is not my strong suit. Should I just watch it? It's like a 15-minute video. Privileged victim archetype. Okay. Well, I'll watch that. I'll see. I don't know. Psycho chicks have a hard time crying. She said she was bullied. Narcissist. What? Damn, these are strong accusations that you guys are leveling at her. She's another psych. What? Is she really? Or are y'all just woman haters? Okay. I will do my my little rudimentary research on Meghan Markle, and I'll get back to you because I actually don't know anything about her. I just know that her and her husband, they stepped away from the royal family. They said that they were being bullied. I don't know, and stuff like that. But damn. Okay. All right, I'll look it up. Anyways, I'll see you guys later. What? Hot boiling water on her servant? Oh, fuck. Ada says, man, there's so much about her. I'm a high-key feminist. Oh, God. She's bad. She's a liar. Okay, okay. I'll do my research. I'll let you guys know what I find. Is it a lot? I don't know. I don't know if my brain can handle it right now. All right, everyone. Have a great day. Take care. Have a good weekend. I will see you guys sometimes next week. I think we will do we'll cover the Vanessa Bryant trial a little bit. And I found out this really cool video of the breakdown of what they think happened during the helicopter stuff. So that's pretty cool. But oh, you're too late. It's okay. I forgot to record this video, so it'll probably take about 3 days for this to be posted on YouTube. So if you missed it, don't worry. We'll post it on YouTube. And on YouTube, I'll try to chop it up a little bit so you're not watching like a 1,000,000-hour stream. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. Have a good one. Take care, and I'll see you later. There's a book written by a reporter about her. Oh, Lord. A tell-all book.